Howdy, howdy.
Good
Hello.
morning.
Good
Hey.
evening.
Happy Sunday, Monday for Lindy. How how are you guys doing today? How was your week?
My week was good. I had a good week. Doing a walking workout challenge with Midlife Carnivore Lynn, and I'm really enjoying that. It's just following this little YouTube channel called Get Fit with Rick. And we every morning I get up and do a little like a workout challenge. And I went to the shop on the weekend to help my daughter with her flower market, and I was able to stand all day. I think I only sat down once. And normally I have to sit down every 5 minutes because I get a sore back, but it's really working. I'm strengthening my back, feeling amazing, being able to do a lot more. So it's been a great non-scale victory to actually stand up and help her out at the shop. So yeah, I'm happy.
That's awesome. Yep, feeling the carnivore stamina.
Yeah, it's working. Yeah. So how about you, Michael?
Eh, it was just another week for me. I just been dealing with some swelling in my legs, so I just took it easy this week.
Yeah, we were
Nice.
talking about that earlier, and you think it sounds like you got some oxalate dumping going on, causing some
I
inflammation.
got a lot going on. Yeah, oxalate dumping and really bad swelling. So just dealing with it. And I'm up a lot in the weight, and I'm feeling it in my back and legs, and
Yeah.
I'm just tired of it.
Yeah, man, I know. It was 12 or 13 months before I got my first oxalate dump, and then when I did, you get kind of hit with or at least I did. I got hit with a bout of inflammation and
Yeah.
fought some swelling and fluid retention for several weeks, and rashes on my legs, and had crystals coming out of my eyes, oxalate crystals coming out of my eyes and out of my pores on my head. It
Yeah.
was itchy, man. It sucked. It was no fun.
Yeah.
It's no fun.
Yeah. It was about a year into it for me, and I had like really big rashes under my armpits, really itchy, inflamed, and red. Um, yeah, it just felt terrible. And then it just goes, and it's like, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had no idea about oxalates at the time, so I'm like, what's going on here? But yeah, and never again. It must
Nope.
all be out.
It's good.
I still do some oxalate dumping for sure, but it's mild compared to the first case we had. Hey, Dr. Phil's in the house.
There he
Hi,
is.
Dr. Phil. Yay.
Yeah, I don't know, I had a busy week. It was pretty fun working on. I had the garage about 3 quarters cleaned out, so I'm working on turning that into a gym to make things easier to work out. And today at 1:30, I broke a 7-day fast, so I'm
Oh, well done.
thank you, easing into that, hoping not to have any potty issues here in the coming future. Because anything over 4 or 5 days, and I end up having some close, having a touchy stomach for sure. So, let's see here. Doing that, I got a brisket on the smoker, which reminds me, if you see me pause for a minute, it's at what is it at? It's at 152 degrees right now. When it gets to 165 degrees, I got to go wrap it, put it back on the smoker.
So should we all start hop in the car and come over for dinner or?
You should. I would recommend it. It's a little bit of a drive, but it's worth it. I finally got that figured out. In fact, today in the SBG and Chewing the Fat meeting, somebody was asking, Charlie actually was asking about the elevation, how it affects temperature, and it definitely does, because my first brisket, my first chuck roast, I turned them both into fossil fuel because I disintegrated them, and it was a little bit of a
Uh,
problem. And it was because what I found out is basically I was overcooking them by about 9 degrees internal temperature, 8.8 degrees to be exact, too much because of the elevation where we're at. So yeah, it was crazy.
yeah.
But
Interesting.
yeah, let's see, Willie. I do it in butcher paper, so a non-wax butcher paper, because I try to hold a little bit of it in, keep the direct dry air off of it. But I also want some of the steam to release and not turn the bark that I've spent the last 8 hours making soft. So I always do it in paper. Um, Foil's a little more forgiving as far as keeping the moisture in, but I do really like that brisket bark. It's kind of like kind of like your trophy for smoking it for a long time. Low and slow is that mark. So this is the way. You know your brisket, sir. You know your brisket. But yes, sir. But you know what's funny is, right? Like before I started smoking brisket, all the people in the know, all the YouTube videos, all the folks from down south, they all say, you know, smoke it, or smoke it to an internal temperature of 203 degrees. Well, I did that here, and it just decimated. I had to bury it in the backyard and say a prayer over it because it was a dead piece of meat. And it was because at sea level or down south where most of you guys are, water boils at about 212 degrees, where here where I'm at almost 5,000 feet in elevation, water boils at 202.8 degrees. So I was way overcooking those briskets at 203 degrees. And so I had to back it off. And now I shoot for an internal temperature of about 195, 196, right in that ballpark. And it's doing better now for sure.
I'll have to try another brisket. I just did another Scotch roast, and it's so good. It lasts us for quite a few days, almost a week, and it feeds my husband and I for like lunch and dinner all week. So $100 for a nice big roast, but we would spend $100 one night in takeout, and that's feeding us for a whole week. It is super cheap. So people sort of like, oh, $100 for that. I'm like, yeah, but that's all we eat. We might have a few eggs with it here or there, but it's super cheap.
It is. It really is affordable, and that's what I mean. You guys remember the brisket that I cooked last week? Now I fasted all week, so I wasn't eating, but I fed Mom for the whole week with that brisket, and there's still half of it left that I'm going to end up feeding to Cosette. And now this week I'm going to be eating on this brisket and a little bit of hamburger. But I mean, basically, same thing. About $120 worth of beef is going to feed us all week because of that. And I do love smoking on Sunday because then it's meal prepped for the whole week. I just mix it up.
Yeah.
Super.
The smoke has been a game changer for us. I'm absolutely loving it. And then it's really nice just to have, shave off strips and have it cold. Or if I want something warm, I can just throw the strips into an air fryer, make them all crispy, and then just dip them in tallow. And that's really nice as well.
Yeah. Oh, here. Phil wants to know what a Scotch roast is, Lindy.
It's like your prime rib. I just went into our meat butcher and I was taking photos, everything, and sending them to Todd and saying, is this a prime rib? Because we don't have prime rib. I have no idea what that is. And it's apparently our Scotch fillet steak is a prime rib for you guys.
Yeah. So. And then, yes, Todd, we are about 7,000 feet, and it's hard to find recipes to work for this elevation in Utah. Absolutely. And so what I've been doing is, I found an app that'll tell you what temperature water boils at your elevation. So I plug in my elevation, and I check the temperature differential between sea level boiling point and then my elevation of boiling point, and then I subtract that temperature. So most of the barbecue comes from down south, which is pretty close to sea level, give or take a degree or two of boiling point. So I take that and then I deduct my boiling point, whatever that is, which mine is mine's 7.2 degrees less. So I have to subtract 7.2 degrees for most of the recipes, and that gives me a good benchmark to start on. And then I add a degree or two, add or subtract a degree or two to get it right. And I'm getting it narrowed in. It's a lot better now, for sure. I haven't had to bury any more meat in the backyard, so we're doing all right.
You can always feed it to that little basset hound who keeps nicking your meat.
Yeah, exactly, Phil. Yep. So being that water boils at 7.8 degrees or 7.2 degrees sooner at my elevation, I have to adjust it down by 7.2 degrees from those sea level temperatures, and that's working fantastically right now, actually. Let's see. We had a couple starred comments here. Down 160 pounds from 375, starting carnivore for the next 50. Congratulations, Tony.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Awesome job.
Very good work. Let's see. Starting week 3 of Carnivore, lost 11 pounds this week. I usually give up, but I'm going to beat it this time. Absolutely, you are, Pam.
Stick to it.
And that's kind of what me and Lindy were talking about. That's what this episode's going to be about, is kind of consistency, because I don't know, it kind of hit me a lot this week because I was worried about the fast that I just did, because I haven't fasted since beginning of, well, really the end of May, just before I went to Texas, because I was doing a bunch of fasting going up to Texas. But then when I went down to Texas, I wasn't fasting there because there's a ton of food to eat while we're down there. And then when I got back, it was kind of my busy season. It was hot here and busy season with fireworks. And so I didn't have time to eat a bunch of meals. So I was only eating OMADs. And I have a hard time going into a very long fast if I've done OMADs, because you just don't get enough. You're kind of under eating. You know, you're almost in a constant fast when you're doing OMADs anyways. So I did OMADs all the way through till after the 4th of July. And then I was trying to get 36 eggs in a day and a pound of meat to get ready for a fast. And I really kind of failed on it. I was only getting about 18 eggs in most of the time and a pound of meat. And so I thought that this 7-day fast that I just went on was going to be difficult. And I was actually very shocked that not only was it not terribly difficult, and there was no white knuckling. I didn't have any brain fog. I didn't have any, I didn't have any symptoms of like my metabolism slowing down or anything like that. But also, now that I'm out and about more, I'm just facing a lot more temptations, because like I went to our company Thursday morning, staff meeting breakfast, where everybody's having pancakes and French toast and muffins and cinnamon rolls and stuff. And it didn't shake me. Like it wasn't a problem, even though I was 5 days into a fast when we did that, or 4.5 days or whatever into a fast when we did that. It wasn't a problem. And then I had to cook for my mom the whole time. So I'm making mom brisket and, brisket and eggs and all sorts of food that I would normally be eating, and it didn't bother me. And I was like, well, this is why this carnivore is worth $1 million, because the food addiction part is over. Like the battle really is won. It's just a matter of time now, because I don't, there's no addiction anymore. I have no weakness for food anymore. I don't have, I'm like, I don't have, I don't know, I guess I don't have these addictions and this addictive personality, and it doesn't cause any kind of anxiety like it used to, because that was always a source of anxiety. It's completely gone. And I wanted to talk about that. Why is that on Carnivore? And what that is, that is your off switch you talk about, Lindy, but like, what is it exactly? Because it's quite incredible to me, What are your guys' thoughts?
Do you want me to go next? Yeah. It looks like you're going to talk. I don't know. I thought that I never had an off switch, so I definitely thought I was broken. Found Carnivore, found that off switch that I didn't think existed. And I thought, okay, I've beat it. That's it. But I'm 2.5 years in. I had my birthday and I did go off plan for my birthday. I thought, I'm strong now. I can go off plan, have a bit of a treat. I've got an off switch now, so I can, moderate like everybody else. That's not possible. I think, and we've said it before, once an addict, always an addict. And then we thought, no, that's not true. But I think it is now. I've reverted back, because now I am struggling. Those thoughts are coming in and I'm trying to stay strong. And I did go off a little bit, every now and then you get a little bit weak and it's like, oh, just one more time, I'll start again tomorrow. And those excuses start to come back in. So it's been a struggle to be consistent. I'll be really good for 2 or 3 or 4 days, and then I have something that's off plan because it's very strong. So you've really got to be careful. Like, you get overconfident and think that you've got that off switch. I can now turn it off, and it's always going to be there. And
Yeah.
I'm going to beat it. I'm going to beat it again. And I've been really good for the last, I think, 4 days now. So I'm going to get to this point where those noises in my head are going to go. The cravings, the carb monster, whatever you want to call it, it will go and I will beat it. But that one cheat meal can really throw you off.
Yeah.
It just happened to me 2.5 years into my journey. So, be really careful with that. It
Well,
bit me this time. So,
and it's such a good lesson too, and it's a good example because that's why, I say it quite often, but when people say stuff like, are you going to have, are you going to splurge for your birthday? Are you going to have a cheat meal for Christmas or whatever? Man, I don't, I think Michaela Peterson said it. She goes, cheating has a connotation of quick gain and getting ahead. And she goes, actually, with diet, there's no getting ahead when you do that. When you indulge in something that's so addictive and so destructive for you, cheating on a test means that you get a grade you didn't deserve, but you get a hand up. And it's like, that doesn't happen when you're eating addictive foods, like it can really throw you into a spiral. And then knowing that people are knowing that there's companies that are making these things so addictive on purpose and at the expense of the health and quality of life of the citizens and the people of this, of all of our countries. I just don't want to. I don't want to help them. Like, I'm so mad. Like, I no longer think it's my birthday. I'm gonna have some meth, and I'm gonna, empower my enemies to attack me and to make me a slave to this crap anymore. Like, I don't know. I look at it now, and if I do get any kind of inkling of a craving or an old thought, I don't know, something just wells up inside me that is just pissed about it. It says, not today, not again, not ever again. Am I touching that? Am I doing that? Am I going down that road? Am I going to let these people manipulate me? I just get so mad. It's just, I don't know, it's taken all the temptation out of it. It really has.
Yeah. And a lot of people, they will go off plan and they feel terrible, like physically ill, or after eating some rice or whatever, they feel sick. I don't get that. I just get the craving monster, like I need more sugar, or whatever it is. But I don't feel any ill effect, which I hate. I wish it made me feel sick, because then that would make me think, okay, well, this is really bad for me. I don't need it. And I don't get that feeling. So I do envy those people that can't eat anything and feel ill. And it's just a reminder why you're not eating that way. But I guess I'm cut from my grandmother. Like, they're all Italian. They love their food, and we've got really strong stomachs. I could eat anything and not faze me.
Right.
It's a bit of a curse, I think. Yeah.
No, and I don't know. So I just been thinking about that this week, and I've been kind of backtracking. I'm going to answer a couple questions here real quick. And then we'll come right back to this. Yeah, that's the best way I've found to do it. And he says, very interesting. Water for me boils at 198.5 degrees. Never knew that. Yep. And that's about the most accurate way to set a benchmark so that you can start working around elevation for those temperature set points. So that's interesting. And then Missy asked, Todd, are you somewhere different or have a different background? Yeah, this is just a different background. My editor was chewing me out for having a poor looking background. He's like, it looks too confusing, and he wants me to be in a different position. So this is just a green screen. It's not real. So that was the cheap way of doing it. Quick and easy for my editor to keep him off my butt. So, let's see here. We got another one from Missy. There you go. You're awesome, Lindy. Thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing your struggles.
Yeah, I think you've got to keep it real. We are real people, and we do struggle every day. We have lost a lot of weight, but every day we need to talk to ourselves, talk our way through it, because those habits are still there, and it's hard work. It's not easy. It's not easy.
I get the same thing. I don't get the strong cravings, but I'll get the thought of something in my head. It just pops in there and then it stays there for a little bit and then it goes away. You just can't give into it. That's the key.
Yeah.
You know, it's
But you
harder to
just got
do
to think
sometimes.
how I was at 800 pounds and think, I don't ever want to get there. And it is so easy to revert back to that. And I think that fear scares me more than anything else. And that's why I keep going back on Carnivore, because I know this is the best thing for me. And I do have my life back. But yeah, I've just got to keep my guard up and be very aware of what's going on.
On my refrigerator is a picture of me at one of my heaviest points, and so that's a reminder. Every time I open that fridge up, I have to see it. So and I don't want to go back to that.
Well, there's so many reminders, right? Like, you know, I mean, I don't know. I don't focus on too much of the negative, but you know, every night when I'm working on pulling these stupid compression socks on and off, I get mad at myself. I'm like, how did I get in this spot? You know, like I get mad. Those things make me mad. You know, when I don't know, just knowing, you know, come far and that feels good, but also I see how much it's going to take to get to where I want to be. And I'm like, man, you know, I don't know. It's not disappointed or whatever, but it's just kind of eye opening because I was blind to it for a long time. And now that I'm looking at it and I see what, you know, I see how unnecessary it was if it wouldn't have been for all the screwed up food and nutrition. And I see that and it makes me mad because I know in a way how we're attacked now, you know, and I know I see it more every day. My eyes are open to it more every day. Kind of what the damage was, the collateral damage that we got to repair, and you know, you kind of see a little bit of what was lost in the, you know, on the way or whatever. So it makes you mad, right? Because not, you know, not I ain't, you know, not like in a feel sorry for yourself way, but just like these companies are doing this to a lot of people, and it's causing a lot of very real damage that is really hard to get over. And you know, and we're doing it, but it's so unnecessary. It's only this way because they're lying to us. They've screwed up our food environment. They're making money off of us. They want us sick, fat, and weak.
Yep.
And that's the biggest thing why I just don't have any leeway in me anymore, because it's so, I'm just I don't know, maybe I'm tainted, but there's just no cutesy playing around. Like, it's very black and white to me now that stuff is the enemy, and it's my most rival enemy. You know, it is the thing that I want to destroy on this planet the most. You know, I have no room to play with it anymore. You know, and I look at it, and it's not even a temptation anymore. It's just something I hate. It's something that I just want to destroy. I want to break it with my own hands. If it was, you know, if it was a living, breathing entity, I would beat it to death. You know, that's what I want to do to it. And I just see it now, and it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I was just thinking about that, going, that is something that has changed. And I think the only way that changes when you see the truth, when you really kind of start looking at it and you study what's happening, you see the results for yourself, you see what the right, proper human diet can do for you. And then you realize, okay, yeah, this is obvious. I'm not smart enough for this to have been a big mystery that I cracked by finding this, which means that they've been hiding it from us, which means that this was a coordinated attack on us. And we should all be very pissed about it. You know, we should be kind of irate about it, and we should be taking the gloves off. And, you know, even in the score, really, is what we should be doing. And that's, I don't know, that's where my head's been at a lot lately. Just because, you know, I'm still seeing this stuff, and you see so many sick people, you know, so we're all still fighting it, and we're still cleaning up the mess. And it's like, I don't know, it's pretty crazy. But then I start working backwards. I'm like, so what habits, you know, how did we get here? You know, how did we find our way out of that? And I love Jordan Peterson's thing, because I was one of his talks that he did about humbling yourself to get on your knees and start making a change that you can manage. And I think that's so true because it is very humbling. I think back on it, and when I was stuck in a chair peeing in a 5-gallon bucket in my living room because I couldn't make it to the bathroom, I had to make any kind of change that I could manage, which wasn't very much. And it's, that's why you get so depressed and suicidal, because you're so, you're at your lowest point. You don't even feel human. And when you're looking at that, that's what Jordan Peterson's saying. He goes, if you can manage the strength to humble yourself, to take yourself to a low enough level to make the smallest of changes that you can consistently do, you can work your way out of it, And I think that that's so true. A lot of us, the changes we want to make, because, if you think back to all the standard American diets that we went on, they're always something big, right? Like, I'm going to work out and I'm going to not eat this, and I'm going to have, 1,200 calories for the next 9 months, and I'm going to lose 200 pounds in 9 months, and I'm going to work out and do the 75 hard and all this stuff, And that was always these big lofty goals, and we always just collapsed under the pressure because we couldn't do it. When really we should have just started by, even, Jordan Peterson would even tell you, just start by watching one YouTube video for 15 minutes and then implementing one thing out of that video for 1 minute out of the day and see if you could do it. Or even think about how you would implement it for 1 minute. Like, no matter how small it is, reach down and try to touch your toes from the chair or something. See if you can get to your shin. He starts there. And, but most of us won't do that because we think, oh, that won't help. But it does, it does. It absolutely does. And I look back and go, how fast did this happen? I'm down 300 pounds in 20 months,
It's awesome.
Well, yeah. And the thing is that the 20 months is going to go by whether I did something to help myself or hurt myself,
That's right.
And I was either going to be in a worse spot or a better spot. And, nothing's static. You don't stay the same. You don't get to pick a neutral ground. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. There's nothing neutral. And for the longest time, all the things that I tried to pick and do were so extreme because I wouldn't humble myself until I got humbled by being so sick that I didn't have a choice. And I had to get on my knees and pray to God and be humble and come out of it. And then look how fast it happened, because those compounding changes over 20 months, that is the key, and it is. My dad told me about, the compounding penny, where you say, I want you to work for me this month and I'll pay you $3,000 for the month, or you can take a penny on the first day and I'll double it every day for 30 days. Which one would you take? And, of course, it's like $1 million by the time you double a penny 30 times, and it's crazy, but that's kind of how these small things work, like, there's always that, that adage about, a dripping water will eat through a sidewalk, will drill a hole through the sidewalk. Well, kind of, but it takes forever. I never liked that adage because I was like, yeah, but that took like 10 years. But it's not that. It's not that same thing. It's compounding, because the little changes you make that improve your life, you become more active, and you build a muscle that makes you more efficient at doing more things that improve your life and your situation every day. And you become really good at becoming efficient at making changes that you can actually consistently stick to that make a change. And it's crazy how big they get,
Yeah. For me, I had to identify when I was eating, and I'd wake up in the morning and I didn't eat hardly at all through the day. For one, I was too heavy. Like, I couldn't, it was such a chore to get up and even think about cooking food or do anything. So I'd literally be fasting all day. It was nighttime that was my issue. Husband would be home, my girls would be home, and that's when we order takeout, and then you have treats and things like that. And it was just everything was eaten at night, all in one hit, just before bed. So it was a matter of changing my habits. You know, you have your dinner, but we don't need the snacks. So what do? I had to get an iPad, and I've now downloaded a colouring app, and I keep my hands and my mind busy while the TV's on. I'm colouring in, so I'm not thinking about food. I'm keeping my mind busy. That was how I broke having the snacks and things afterwards, and then just changing to having meat. Thankfully, I was really lucky. My husband eats meat with me at night as well, so he has a carnivore meal. What he does through the day, that's his business. I don't, he's not completely carnivore, but that's okay. It's not in the house, and so he does what he likes through the day. At night time, we eat together and we eat the same thing. So that was a really big help for me as well, and a great support that we were eating the same way. My girls, they look after themselves. They cook their own food. I don't have to worry about them. They're old enough, so that worked out well. But even to this day, I still need that iPad at night time. If I don't have that iPad, I do have, thoughts go elsewhere and I want to do something. So I need to keep my mind and my hands busy. So that's a new habit that I've had to create to stay away from, having snacks and things like that. So that helped me a lot. And it's sustainable as well. I can do that every night. I enjoy my iPad. And, every day they get like another 12 or so pictures, and I have to colour those all in before I go to bed. And then if it does get too strong where I do want to, the noises are too big and I do want to have a snack, I will go to bed early. I go and lie down in bed and I'll maybe watch a carnivore YouTube video or two until I fall asleep. But that's my other trick. If things are too bad, I'll just go to bed early. So, and that works as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to pop this up. Did you count calories? How about you, Lindy? Did you count calories?
Never. That's why I didn't like keto, because it was all about counting macros and calories and all that kind of stuff. It's too hard for me. I have to be precise and I have to know how much fat is in this piece of steak. Well, I don't know. I have no idea. It did my head in. So I just eat until I'm comfortably stuffed and then I stop. And if I eat beef, I can stay sustained a lot longer. If I have anything else like eggs or fish, I seem to be hungry a lot earlier. So I do prioritize my beef because I don't want to be eating 2 or 3 or 4 meals a day. So no calories for me.
Yeah. I don't count calories. I do occasionally count macros because I like to have some kind of base of what's happening when it's happening, just because I'm trying to see if I can track something. And I don't know that it even helps, but here's one instance. And I know, in fact, Dr. Phil could probably answer this better because he said something kind of interesting the other day. I can't remember exactly how he said it, but he said gluconeogenesis isn't necessarily something you have to worry about. And the only reason why I worry about gluconeogenesis at all is just because it makes me tired. And I don't have time to be tired in the day when I'm at work. And so, like just one quick anecdotal thing for me that helps is to know that if I eat over 65 grams of protein in basically one sitting, I'm going to get sleepy. I'm going to have some sort of blood sugar spike, and it makes me tired. It makes me want to take a nap. It kind of ruins me for like an hour. I get tired. And so, especially if I'm eating like 80 or 90 grams of protein or 120 grams of protein in a meal, I'll eat that and I'll want to go to bed. I'll at 35 minutes later, I'll want to take a nap. So every once in a while, I'll just look just so I know what 65 grams of protein of egg yolks look like and what 65 grams of protein of ribeye looks like. And then also when I was first struggling on fasting, I realized I needed more fat at the time. So I was eating a 2-to-1 fat to protein ratio. So I would measure some macros so that I could see what that looked like just visually. But now I don't really have to do it because I know where that's at now. So, and I literally just do that so I don't feel like being sleepy. So that's and I have now that I'm lifting and working out, I have an idea of protein intake that I want to maintain because I want to try to build muscle and build a frame as I'm taking off this weight, So I'm also trying to hit certain protein macros. So
Do you count, Michael?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
That was one thing I always hated about diets, was counting the calories and all that stuff.
Yeah. I just like to eat and then stop. I don't want my focus to be on food at all. It's more about living my life. So, yeah, I just eat and forget about it.
for sure. Let's see. Todd, is it possible that holding on to anger is holding you back? 100% possible, Phil. 100%. I don't know. It's not that. I mean, I'm sure it is a little bit for sure, but it's not that I'm super angry at myself or whatever. I just look at the situation of the stuff that is in. Like for instance, had a kind of a, I don't know, rough week last week or whatever because my dad was a Marine and he stayed at the Camp Lejeune housing, and there's Camp Lejeune lawsuit going on right now, and because they poisoned the water with rocket fuel, they dumped aviation fuel in the ground, got in the water, and everybody that was on that base and in that housing. My dad, I think Camp Lejeune was actually an army base, but my dad was a Marine, so he wasn't stationed at the base, but he stayed in the housing, the base housing when he was there, and that's where he got poisoned from it. And anyhow, the two main things that gives you is Parkinson's and uh, leukemia. And my dad died of leukemia, and my mom has Parkinson's. So when I was putting that stuff out there, they were dealing with lawyers. They wanted any kind of pictures that showed pain and suffering and whatever. So my sister sent me all these pictures of when Dad was covered in just head to toe in sores from the chemotherapy.
Leukemia.
Yeah, from the chemo for the leukemia. And he had a sore on every square inch of his body, and he was wasting away. And I just look at that stuff and just the state of, and because I know that was from the rocket fuel, but also Dad had diabetes for forever, and he took insulin for forever, and he was on, I don't know, stage 3 dialysis or whatever for forever. And I just look at that and I think Dad would have been a lot better off if he was on Carnivore, and he might have really turned it around, if he would have been on Carnivore. And so I don't, it is the state of the world that is what it is, but also when you see, that it's just kind of an attack that's, it's all, in my opinion, it's all just evil. It's all just Satan. We got to put it in God's hands. But I don't know. I don't know. It's almost like I don't know. I don't know that there's such thing as a righteous anger, but I mean, there is, like if you look at David and Goliath, David was definitely mad at, Goliath, and I feel like I'm mad at this weapon that's being used against us all. It's really, I don't know. It's something to aim at, to try to shine light on and kind of destroy. And for sure, there's parts of it that I shouldn't be getting mad about, but I just, I don't know. It just feels senseless. It feels so senseless because, it's just so much loss of life and loss of quality of life and pain that goes on, that's going on for nothing. There's no good reason that it's going on. It's just greed and these senseless attacks on us and being deceived, and it's all just evil because we're in a fallen world and it's just all evil. But it's I don't know.
Look at Dr. Nelson's
Camp Lejeune Navy Marine Base. I worked at the hospital there. Oh wow. I met you in Texas, Dr. Nelson. It was very nice to meet you. That was awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, my dad was stationed in the employee housing, and yeah, I guess a bunch of that stuff was caused. It'd be interesting to the Navy Marine base. Oh, it's a Navy Marine base. I got you. I worked in the hospital there. I'd love to talk to you sometime about what you think that actually did to everybody, because I'm very curious, because my dad had so many health problems. You know, he was in Marine shape when he got out of the military, and by the time he was 38, he had his first heart attack because that stuff destroyed his arteries, you know, and they don't know if it was Agent Orange or if it was from Camp Lejeune, but he started having heart attacks when he's 38, you know, and he was in Marine shape, you know, so kind of crazy. Let's see here.
Today, 17 days in. Last week went to Bible study where they have all sweet cakes, so and so on. I can say I passed on that. Excellent. Great job,
Awesome.
Luana.
Yep.
Yeah.
And isn't that fun too? Because I mean, I don't know. I end up really enjoying adding those numbers on. It's like every time you pass on that thing, and every time you go and you come out unscathed, it's like a muscle you're building, you know, and you start to kind of almost enjoy knowing that stuff can't touch you anymore, you know, knowing that you're free from that, you know, because I mean, the whole time I was on standard American diets, that stuff was, you know, just an absolute minefield. Going someplace that had cookies and cake and crap everywhere, and, you know, going to a place that had, you know, whatever food on the menu. I mean, that could derail you for 6 months. Just one of those trips could just, you know, absolutely derail you. Now to be able to face that not eating for a week and face all of them and not care, it's incredibly freeing. It feels very, very good. So congratulations on that. That gets better and better every time you say no, you know?
It does.
Yep.
I always knew what I needed to eat to be relatively healthy and not overweight, but those pushes got at my metabolic health through medications. Going carnivore woke me up, and I'm angry too. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's just a point to it where you just start going, I just think about, because some of the, well, I don't know, like Chafee's kind of anger, right? Where he's not pulling any punches anymore. You know, he's just calling it what it is, you know? And because that's where I kind of get with it, because it's just like, it's too obvious now. This isn't anecdotal to me anymore. It's very obvious, and the answer was right in front of us, and it was so clear that you go, to what extent was this orchestrated to cause this much trouble when it's so obvious? Because I'm not doing anything special. I'm not brilliant. Right? This is a real simple thing that, that I did, that we did, that all of us are doing right now. That's not that complicated, and it's making all the difference. And the only parts of it that have been made complicated is the propaganda against it, saying not to do it. Is all the propaganda saying that cholesterol is killing you and red meat causes cancer and all this nonsense. You know, it's just the propaganda that made it hard. You know, everything else about it has been simple.
Yeah. Hi, Dr. Phil. I have to let go of weight obsession and just focus on the healing. As we heal, our body finds the weight we are designed to carry. In the last month, I dropped 10 pounds that I did not expect. Yeah, I don't focus on the scales. Like I do weigh myself every day, and it goes up and down every day because of the fluid, lymphedema and stuff. It just you just can't focus on the scale, the number on the scale. Yeah, but definitely on the healing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, 100%. And that is the game changer, right? And I mean, yeah, I should throw away my scale too, because I still get annoyed because of the lymphedema stuff. I mean, I just on this fast, I dropped 21 pounds. Sure, that's great. But you know what? I'm going to gain 15 of it back this week by the time I get done eating food again and drinking water correctly again. I'm going to gain 15 plus back this week. So who knows what the net gain is, but I'm not doing the fast for the weight loss, really, because the weight loss is going to come and go. I'm doing the fast because I see real improvements in my lymphatic system and my lower limbs every time that I do it. I see circulation improvements in my lower limbs every time I do
You
it.
feel better too.
Feel better, and also it is the ultimate cure to any kind of palate fatigue of any kind of carnivore foods. Like when if you start having cravings, it's likely because you're tired of what you're eating. And if you're tired of what you're eating, go ahead and fast, and you won't be tired of what you're eating anymore. You fast,
Yeah.
especially for any extended period of time, and eggs and beef are going to
Everything tastes great. Yep.
ooh, like
Yeah.
$1 million, you know?
Yep.
If you have a meat aversion, fasting's good for that. So
Sure.
yeah, that steak will look pretty good at the end of it.
It is the absolute cure to any kind of a meat aversion or palate fatigue. That's for certain. So,
Yeah.
so absolutely, and I know, and I still do get annoyed with the weight sometimes, because I don't know, I have to put it in perspective because our heads are, I don't know, we're so good at being, I don't know, our biggest critics, but on one hand, I've lost 300 pounds, which is amazing and great, and more than I would ever expected in 20 months, But on the other
Yeah.
hand, I'm still 400 pounds. I'm still in the 400s. And I'm like, I haven't been eating nothing but egg yolks, beef, and water. How can this be?
Yep.
But it's just because I started at such an extreme and I've been this way for so long. That's just the way it is. And I have a lot of healing to do. And I know that it just messes with your head a little bit. And then, I have to get on myself about putting things in the right perspective because it's it's kind of silly, right? But
Yeah.
I don't know, it's hard to beat your own head sometimes, right?
Another great example though, last year in winter, you had stalled and we were doing videos throughout, and 6 months later we compared two of the videos from 6 months when you were stalled and you were like tiny. Like your composition had changed. Even though the scale didn't move, you were shrinking.
For sure.
And we just don't, it's that number on the scale that you're focused on, but things were happening physically, and it wasn't until we put those two photos together, the two streams, that we actually saw there was a huge change. So
We did the same thing, Lindy, and we saw the change in just a few months' time.
Yeah. And you don't see it. Like I don't see it when I look at myself every week. I look
see
the
ourselves.
same.
Yeah, we see ourselves daily.
For sure.
The scale just likes to play games with your head all the time. Like today, I got on the scale today. I haven't weighed myself in months. Got on the scale today, and I'm up 46 pounds.
Wow.
Okay, it sucks. It's devastating to see that number on the scale again, especially when it was gone. You didn't think you'd ever see that number again, and you get on and you're up 46 pounds. I know it's all fluid in my legs.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and I can feel it. I was, trying to even stay off my legs as much as I could this week. So I know it was even more, but it's devastating. It sucks. So the scale is nice to know where you're at, but it's also devastating to get on it and to see a big change, and it breaks your heart.
For sure. I'm thinking of selling dartboards with Rockefeller, Kellogg keys, and a few others at the center. I knew this is going to cause harm, and they didn't care. Well, they didn't care, and I think even some of it was on purpose. I think there's a big part to meant to cause harm, because harm, weakening citizens, is a really good way to control people. It's a really good way to weaken your enemies. I mean, if they want control, then we are the opposing army, and what better way to make us controllable is to make us weak and sickly, or make us harmless, it's there's a lot that's been hurled at us and orchestrated against us for not just monetary gain but power gain, so let's see.
I'm a lucky moderator that didn't need to go carnivore, but I'm so pissed at all the problems they caused. And after all, we've learned I can't eat any other way. I won't let them control me. Yeah.
100%. I 100% agree. Can you guys feel us getting demonetized right now?
We don't do much anyway, so it doesn't really matter, does it? It's not going to
No,
impact us at all. They can do whatever they like.
no. There goes my $2.23 for this episode. Right out the window. One of my daughters was born at Camp Lejeune, and we were during the time I lived in Paradise Point at Camp Lejeune. Oh, are you guys in the lawsuit as well? Let us know.
Wow.
Is there a minimum amount of meat you should eat per meal or day? Or second, why would cravings creep back in after 50 days? Oh boy. So minimum amount at first, I mean, it just depends on, this is just my opinion and how I see it for myself. The minimum amount at first is as much as you can eat. The minimum amount, you got to eat your way through cravings and addiction and all sorts of things, and you got to let your body heal. I would highly, highly recommend the SBG, the Steak and Butter Gang group, to join them and do their priming protocol. But yeah, I mean, it's really just intuitive. But you even have to prime to get your appetite up, so that your body will start to heal and get your metabolic rate up, your metabolism up, and then you kind of have to assess it from there. I mean, I was so screwed up that I did OMADs for 9 months. Really hurt my metabolism doing OMADs, and I had to prime, and I went from eating, like, I think I was down to 1,450 calories at one point a day, but I was right around 1,700 for a good while. And I went from doing that, like less than a pound of meat a day, once a day, to eating 7 pounds of meat a day. And that's when everything healed up, So you got to heal through it first. And I would say after 50 days, the cravings are coming back in, because you're either introducing something that's bringing it in, but most likely you're under eating. Cravings usually come in from under eating. What do you think, Lindy?
Yeah, do you have sweeteners? Do you have dairy, cream, things like that? They trigger me. And yeah, is something slipping in that you're not aware of? Like occasionally, if there's spices that have some sugars in there, anything, vegetables that can make me crave as well. They turn the cravings on. So just finding out if there's anything slipping in that you're not aware of. But definitely, yeah, just make sure you eat enough. If you're hungry, make sure that food is going to be meat. If you're craving something else, are you really hungry? Or is it just that you're bored? Is it habit that you just want to eat at that time? Maybe try and go for a walk around the block, or grab an iPad and do the colouring app that I do. Try and trick your mind and change that habit to break that habit. There's a reason why you've got that craving, whether it's because something's triggered it or it's because you're bored. So you need to work out what it is. If the steak isn't looking good, then chances are you're not hungry. It is a habit that you need to break. Have a bath, brush your teeth, anything that will just get you away from the fridge and not thinking about that food. They're things I'm trying to doing right now. All
sure.
the tricks are there. They're all in my tool belt. I'm just going to whip them out.
On that, so I don't talk about exercise or stuff too much, because I hate for people to think that I lost this weight by exercise, because I did not.
No.
It's just a beautiful bonus of how healing carnivore and priming is that I'm able to exercise now. And not only am I able to exercise, but my body wants it. It craves the movement. And I'm not saying that exercise has ever been bad. It's just that this show is kind of crafted toward people that were in our situation, And if I saw me right now touting how I lost 300 pounds and then started talking about exercise, I would turn the channel, because back then I couldn't breathe.
No
I couldn't get, it wasn't on the table. So, and I would never, the message here is not that exercise is the way to lose weight, but carnivore and priming is the way to heal your body enough to where all of a sudden exercise can be fun. In fact, it's only been the last few weeks that I finally got to a point where exercise is enjoyable and I actually look forward to it. My body's kind of craving it. And I was like, this is why Joe Rogan and people say some ignorant crap, is because this is the only side of this coin they've ever felt. And so they're like,
Yes.
just get moving, just do this, and just work through it and eat less, and can't be lazy, you got to hit it. They've never felt constantly dead. They don't know what it's like to not have a metabolic system, or have serious metabolic disease, and to just be sick and not be able to breathe and not be able to function. They've never seen that side of the coin. They've never felt it. So
Yeah.
I get a little bit where they're coming from. But on that point, what I was saying is one of the reasons that my fasting was so easy this time was because this is the first time where I had other activities to do. And there's something about when I would go out and do my exercises that it would actually take your mind off it, and it would give you kind of a different endorphin fix in a way through the exercise, and it would take away. I don't even know, because I wasn't super hungry, but it would just kind of distract you, right? It would take your attention away from it, because a lot of times, even when you're not white knuckling a fast, one of the hardest parts about the fast is you just get bored. You get tired of not eating because you're just bored of not getting to taste food. So it is fun, which, of course, is pretty obvious when you think about it, because, a lot of this is what I've talked about through Carnivore. If you're going to take something away, you can't leave a void. You got to fill it with something, right? You got to have a purpose for that space. And so it's kind of nice to have exercise as the filler for the fasting void, of not eating. I did find that actually very handy and enjoyable this round. So I'm looking forward to that in the future. At Todd, I feel you. Condolences to your parents, by the way. It's all by design. I 100% agree. It's definitely by design. Definitely by design. There's dark forces at play, but I think ultimately it's just evil that is designing this. I think that's the ultimate designer there. You see so many what ifs around us. All our parents and loved ones could have lived longer, healthier lives. It's so sad that they did this to us all. But I know we don't have to accept their their shit for sure. Yeah, we don't,
Yeah.
and it's good, right? I mean, this is what, in my opinion, the Bible talks about, and also what Jordan Peterson talks about all the time. That how we fix this. This is why the real answer to all of this is to work on ourselves, right? Because don't tell people, show people, right? So we got to
Yeah.
show them what Carnivore does. We got to show them by being healthy, vibrant, alive, not having cancer and heart disease off eating this crazy red meat diet that we're on. We just got to show them. And then
Yeah.
people are going to get on their knees because they're going to succumb to the food and the sickness, and they're going to lose quality of life until they get to their knees. And they're not going to be looking for a textbook. They're going to be looking for an example. They're going to be looking for somebody that bears fruit. And that's where we come in, where we all come in that are doing this, breaking free.
Yeah. And, we wish that we had found this 20, 30 years ago. We would have been able to help our parents, maybe even some of our grandparents who went through, my grandfather with Alzheimer's. I mean, this probably could have fixed him and, made things a little bit less. But we just have to work on ourselves now, be the example. I have current family members and friends who are all suffering from different ailments, and I wish they would jump on board. You can't tell them that but being the example, they do ask questions. Even my daughter, we went to the endocrinologist on the weekend and had a whole bunch of tests, and he was saying some things to her, and she's like, "Mum, what do you think?" She was actually asking me, and she was starting to question a lot of what he had to say. And I thought, wow, she is actually listening to me, and she's wanting, my advice. And, can you ask some of the carnivore doctors what they think about this? And she's actually wanting me to do a little bit of research for her before she makes a decision on what her endo said. And I thought that was really good, that she wants to know all the options, learn more about her body. And she was just a little bit suspicious about things that he was saying, because he just seemed to be flailing at some of the questions I was asking. And it was so interesting. And even the doctor turned around and looked at me and he says, they were very good questions. And it's like, it was just logical, but he didn't know the answers. And I think he made a lot of them up just to on the spot, because he had no idea.
Right.
Yeah, I think he's not used to being questioned. So, yeah, I think he enjoyed it. He actually said to me, are you a nurse? And I'm like, no. and my daughter said, no, she's just very clever.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, people are listening. They may not be carnivore yet, but they are listening, and the message or the seed is planted. So yeah, it's good to know.
For sure. Oh, I've learned so much to listen to your stories. Thank you. I appreciate that, Lynn. Thank you so much. Todd, your consumption of egg yolks has been helping add lean muscle, which adds good weight. Yeah. Oh, for sure. No, it definitely has. And I mean, that's why I can't get too frustrated with the scale, because composition changes are extremely real. And the fact is that I'm carrying around a 400 plus pound body still. And it's easy now, right? Like I get up and off, these are simple things to most people, but it's easy to get up and up and down off the floor, right? Like I do my head axle, I do planks on my shake plate and stuff, and it's easy now, right? So where that sounds like not much, but when 20 months ago I couldn't get to the bathroom without a prayer and an act of God, it's quite different. So clearly there's been a bunch of muscle that's built up because everything's so easy. It's so nice to feel light. I can't imagine what something in the 200s is going to feel like. I don't remember the last time I was in the 200s, but it was sometime when I was like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years old. So that's going to be insane, maybe 8, somewhere in there. Yeah. It's probably 7. So that'll be crazy how light that's going to feel. I should be able. My brother goes, I want to see if you can slam dunk a basketball. Because I feel like you can. You should be able to. Be funny.
You guys are such winners already. Just stay consistent and let the tincture of time do its thing. The fasting, Todd, is also good for your autophagy. Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. For sure. And I'm quite enjoying that part for sure. Let's see. Ribeye Ranger says he'll cover your YouTube losses, checks in the mail, right? Woo! The postage stamp will cost more than the check for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. That made my day. I don't weigh, I go to how I feel in mind, body, please, by clothes or fitting. So much
better.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Scale doesn't tell you everything you need to know.
No.
In Steak and Butter Gang, do you have to do the fasting? Absolutely not. I'm not a faster. I can't fast. I find it restriction just causes more me wanting the food. So there's no need to fast. It is part of their protocol if you wish to do it. But no, I could just go along to the meetings, to the NSV meetings where you just hear about what people are doing, their non-scale victories. But you just learn so much from their meetings. So I go in, I listen to all the meetings, and I always take away gold nuggets, little tools that I can use, things. I learn so much about myself just by listening to other people's questions and answers. So no need to do the fasting, but it's there that, learning about it, it's another tool that you've got in your tool belt for when you are ready, or if you ever are ready to do the fasting. So yeah, just...
For sure. And yeah, just, they have what's called priming, which is eating with a purpose to nourish your body. And you can do that over and over and over again. And it ain't going to hurt you. And, you're just going to get you're just going to get to a point where your body's going to start self-regulate and tell you what you need. And, you might find that after doing it that you want to fast. Like your body might be like, hey, we're just so nourished that we don't want it, but you definitely don't have to. There's no need or forcing. I mean, even the fasting that they do, that's funny. They talk about no white knuckle fasting. Like if it's hard and you're struggling, you shouldn't be
You're not
doing it
ready for it.
anyways.
Yep.
Yeah,
No, you're not ready. Yeah. But you do tend to undereat on carnivore. Like I'm like a one OMAD, and that tanks your metabolism. So then if you do like a mini prime, which will be like a 2 or 3 day where you just have 3 meals a day, and then you can go back to how you normally eat. But that 3 days will ramp up your metabolism, so you start burning fat again. So that's why the prime, it doesn't have to be a full prime, and that's how I do it. I tend to just undereat over time. Everything stops, the scale stops moving, my metabolism is tanked. I can't eat 3 meals a day, but I'll just take bites all day, and because of my lap band, just do it try to do it as best of a prime that I can. That gets my metabolism ramped up again, and then go back to how I normally eat, which might be 1 or occasionally 2 meals a day.
And
So
it's really
a good
easy
tool.
to undereat on carnivore too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I use spices like onion and garlic and a water additive with stevia. So stevia could be triggering those cravings.
Yeah.
Anything sweet triggers cravings for me. And if you're still struggling after 50 days, maybe try without the stevia and just do whole spices that don't have any, and see what happens. Yeah.
For sure. Good points. Are you really hungry, Lindy? Brushing my teeth and dental floss are my cheats right now. It's pretty sad when those are my cheats.
Oh, your dentist will be happy for sure.
For sure. I know what you're saying. I have these little tooth flosser things and they're mint or whatever. Yeah. When I do that, I'm like, ooh, look at that candy.
It's just that keeping busy, keeping your hands busy, maybe your mind busy doing something else. My husband sits there cleaning his ears. He's got earbuds next to him. He just sits there, and I'm like, no wonder you're half deaf. He's always got things stuck in his ears, but he likes it. That's his little thing. This is for you, Todd. Lived there 1976 to 83. And my daughters are in the suit. Yeah, okay. In their mid-40s. Me, I haven't signed up. Instead, really have kept myself healthy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy because I'm one of 6 kids, but when my mom and dad were stationed there, she had 2 miscarriages. The only miscarriages she's ever had in her life were when they're at Camp Lejeune, which is another one of the deals there was miscarriages, they said. So kind of interesting.
Very sad. I asked my butcher for beef shanks. He looked confused, but it looks like the right cut. Looking forward to cooking them up. Have any of you tried cooking beef shanks?
I have not tried.
Heard of lamb shanks. I haven't seen beef shanks ever. Would you do them in the slow cooker maybe? I think that's how you do your lamb ones, isn't it?
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I'll have to try it. I've never tried a beef shank. Sounds good. I mean, you had me at beef, so I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, beef is my favorite too.
Yeah.
I get stir crazy from boredom, and Lindy especially at night. Yeah, that's when you sit down with the family and you put the TV on. You've got all those commercials on Tim Tams and all those other, ice creams and stuff. So we don't watch commercial TV. We put Netflix on or whatever that doesn't have commercials. And yeah, the iPad has been my tool that saved me.
Nice. That's a good pro tip.
I never did priming from the beginning. Maybe I should do a restart. I truly love this way of eating because I truly don't have to think of writing what I eat down and count calories and carb. Yeah, just keep it simple. I know a lot of people say, eat this much protein, eat this much fat. And I can't do the math. I just eat and then stop when I'm full. That's it.
That's what I
Just
do.
don't count anything. Maybe macros and things like that will be good when you're closer to your goal weight and you have that last few pounds to lose. Maybe that's when those tools would be great. But for someone our size that we've still got a lot to lose, just keep it simple.
For sure.
Husband was deployed most of the time, just asbestos on the ships for him. All of us healthy still.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very good to hear. Oh, you know this crazy guy?
Yeah, go back to work, honey. You should be driving your bus.
Oh, here he is again. Thanks,
Yes.
Scott. I
Does
appreciate
look
it.
good. Matches the hat really well.
Yeah,
Good vibe happening.
Hopefully my editor will be happy and stop giving me a hard time. Did you hear Jordan Peterson talking to Elon Musk about the carnivore diet and Elon Musk? Yeah, I did. It was awesome, I thought.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, it's gonna hit the stratosphere here pretty soon with as much result as it's having. WebMD has a new article out called "Greens to Meat" that says more women are going to the carnivore diet. That's awesome.
Ah, good to hear. Very nice.
For sure. Let's see.
My partner is 62. I'm 65. He has terrible joint pain, sad. New Mexican version. I have zero pain on carnivore, but he refuses to try it. Never push or insist. Sad to see him in pain. Yeah. Well, just going off plan for the last, since my birthday, I've had a bit of joint pain as well. That's probably the only thing that I've had negative and reminds me why I should stay on this way of eating. So definitely something is causing inflammation in his joints and causing that. And you just have to you got to look after yourself. Keep being healthy, keep being that inspiration, and maybe play some videos that's what I used to do with my husband. I'd sit there and play YouTube videos on TV. So he'd be sitting there doing whatever he was doing and he's listening. And now you should hear him. Whenever we go out, he's like so pro carnivore, but he should be carnivore, should be doing like he's not 100%, but he said, look at Lindy, look how amazing she looks. And, he's so pro carnivore right now. So just planting that little seed and eventually I think he'll come around.
For sure. Yeah, just be the example. Yep.
Yeah.
And, he's going to have to hop on board because you're going to be leaving him in the dust. You're going to be growing younger.
I know. I keep telling my husband that if you can't keep up, I'll be leaving you at home. I'm off. So, yeah.
SBG is such an amazing supportive group of like-minded people. It's awesome to have a tribe. I don't fast. I've been priming for over 2 months for healing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I've missed quite a few SBG meetings due to family. I've been taking my daughter to, health issues and stuff like that. I feel it when I'm not at the meetings. And that's probably another reason why I'm not on track. Community has been such a big part of my journey. Just having that tribe, as you call it. I'm there at the meetings. I listen to everyone's story. It keeps me on track. I feel great. I haven't been watching as many YouTube videos because I haven't been home. So I'm out of my routine. And when you're out of that routine, and that's kind of thrown me. So as of this week, I'm hoping that I'm going to be at more meetings this week. I've been watching more YouTube videos and just keeping myself in the community, because the noises when I'm at home, I don't have a lot of carnivore support around me. Nobody's carnivore. My husband part-time, but that's it. It's just me. So I need to be in this community and away from all that, talk about carbs and just eat one's not going to kill you and all that stuff. I need to get that out of my head because it throws me off track. So community is very important for a lot of people.
100%. It's definitely, if it wasn't for this SBG community and YouTube community, like just stay in, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like being married in a way. The reason why you get married publicly and you make vows in front of people is for, to make the commitment, be held accountable, and because when people are watching you and, especially doing this, it's like, that's another reason. It's just like, man, the flip side of the coin of being the example is if you're a bad example, you're not a very good example if you're a bad example, right? You're helping, uh, you're helping hurt people's quality of life, and you're helping make people sick if you do that. And, not to put that much pressure on yourself, but you know what I mean? You don't want to be an example for other people to go, see, even these big, well, not that we're big by any means, but YouTube people or whatever, that are trying to be, the influencers or whatever you want to call us. I don't want to be somebody's excuse or reason that they can drop off too. So it does kind of hold you accountable too, because you just, I don't know. I really think people, this is another thing I've been, thinking about a lot of, you hear this a lot, and it's like, you got to put yourself first. And I don't know. When I put myself first, I'm pretty terrible to myself, actually. When I put other people first, that's when I actually am more accountable, like when I was single, I was pretty terrible to myself. When I was married, I was more accountable because I had somebody that I cared more about than myself. And I think the YouTube world and this carnivore community is that way too. I'm more accountable to people because we can be pretty harsh to ourselves and we can be pretty destructive to ourselves, but we are more we are more of a good steward to people that we that we don't want to, that we want to see do good in the community. So I think that's, for me, is why the community is such a important part too.
Yeah.
I've reached the stall. I'm experiencing inflammation from side effects from an antibiotic I was on for a sinus infection. What has helped you, or when, if you experienced that? I had COVID a while back, and the only thing that helps you, it sucks, but when you have something like that, well, a couple of things. One, the reason why I had COVID, which was the second time I had it, was because I was going through oxalate dumping, and I had a inflammation flare up from the oxalate dumping, which weakened my immune system, which made me get COVID. And so I caught it, and I had a little bit of infection, and I even had to take some NyQuil and stuff, and it screwed me up for 10 days. And what helped me through that was I had to eat through it, and then I had to fast when I was done. And those two things got me through that, got me back on track pretty quick. But that was just how I dealt with it. What do you think, Lindy?
Yeah, definitely. Fasting could help, but maybe your body just needs to heal now. If you've been unwell and you're on antibiotics, something's not right. So just be kind to yourself, prioritize your rest, and just ride through it. And once you're healed, I think your body, once it feels safe, it will start to let go of that weight again. But there's no rush, just day at a time. I'm in a stall at the moment. I seem to be in maintenance mode. And as we were saying before, with Todd last year in winter, the scales hadn't dropped at all, but he was shrinking in size. So It could be just that healing. The composition changes are happening. We just don't know. But I think our bodies are strong, and they know what they're doing, and you just got to be patient with it. Don't be in a rush.
100%.
Good night, Dr. Phil.
Good night. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Phil's always in, or not always, but he's in SBG a lot, and he's such a great support to the community and huge source of knowledge. If you guys are ever in SBG, he's fantastic. You guys,
yes.
Wow, we got a men's call coming up on Saturday the 17th, I think, and he just huge resource to the community.
I sent my 7 siblings my successful 1-year video in hopes that some would choose to heal. Rebuked by 6, I offered a healing path. Their restrictions are their responsibilities. Yeah.
That's all you can do. You can just,
my daughters are not carnivore, and they could be. I think they would cure a lot of their issues, but they turn around and like, oh, I don't have big weight problems like you, Mum. they don't realize it's just more about the healing, and it heals so much more. So even though I am a great example, they're so proud of me and inspired by me. They just think the carnivore's not for them because they don't have the same issues as me. So
Yet.
I know.
For sure.
And it's sad. It's sad. I just got to keep plugging away and doing my thing and being that inspiration. And when they're ready, they'll reach out. That's all they can hope for.
100%. All right.
Okay.
Hey,
hi,
John. I appreciate you stopping in. Oh, and that reminds me, everybody go check out Big Man Alaska on YouTube and check out Ribeye Ranger and Lynn Tucker Carnivore. And do we have any others in here I missed?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. Yeah.
Right. I think that's all the YouTubers, but yeah, definitely go check out their channels. They're awesome. Let's see, moving along. Hey, there's Charlie. He's also an SBG in the open chat. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Charlie.
How you doing, Charlie?
Appreciate you, Charlie. All right, moving on. I broke my weight loss stall with sardines and eggs. Finally got under the 300 point. That is huge. Good job, John. That is huge. I know that's
awesome. It's a big number.
That's a huge number. Congratulations.
Yeah, I used to hate sardines. I couldn't even look at them, but now I'm actually craving them. Believe it or not, I actually really enjoy them. But I do them with a bit of tallow and a bit of Tabasco sauce.
Yeah,
and in a saucepan, and I just stir it around so I don't get chunky bits. It looks like baby food, but geez, it's so good.
Yeah,
and I have done a couple of. I did a sardine fast just before Texas, and I felt amazing, absolutely amazing. So I'm actually thinking of doing one because I've got so many tins here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like them. I like sardines. I like sardines, and I take and put a bunch of mustard on them and then a bunch of Tabasco on them. That's how I like them. They are tasty.
Right. I haven't had the mustard. The Tabasco I do. I think one thing that doesn't get enough credit instead of weight loss focus is the brain gain that gives you the ability to do more. Yeah.
That's 100% true, Charlie. And
lifting that fog off you.
Yeah, it takes that fog off. You get, just better concentration. Yeah, clarity. You can focus more. Absolutely. It's huge. It's absolutely huge.
I am 5 months stalled, so I started tracking. I was so unclear eating 10 days into tracking. This works. Cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Tracking is definitely a great tool for if you're stalled or when you're close to your goal and you're just not getting there. Yeah, definitely a tool for your belt.
Yeah, and if you're a person that just likes numbers and you try to kind of crack the code, I say go for it,
Yeah.
I don't think it matters. I mean, clearly we didn't evolve with macro counting and macro apps, but, whatever, our species didn't get here that way. But it doesn't mean that it can't, if you're the type of person that wants to obsess over things anyways, and you're going to do it whether you have the data or not, then go ahead and use it. I don't think it's that big a deal. Some people are real against it. I think if you like it, do it. If you don't like it, don't.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I had a lady in a restaurant ask me about why the 2 plain burger patties on my plate was wearing my Zero Carb Life t-shirt. Told her to feel good, I have no more pain. She looked shocked. That's awesome.
We were at a restaurant a while back at a cafe, and my husband and I, we order a carnivore platter, and it's just got pork ribs, a steak, Wagyu steak, and some chicken kebab, and we share that. And he's eating, he gets into the pork ribs, and he's got the hands, and he's got grease all over his face, pretty gross. And this old lady comes up to him, pats him on the back and says, I've never enjoyed anyone eating meat as much as you did. Great job. And we just looked at this poor woman, and she just had the biggest smile. It's like, she just wanted to hug him because he was eating this meat.
That's funny. That's awesome. Let's see here. Going down, moving along. There we go. There
Hi,
she is.
Myron. I always say that eating meat is easy, but the emotional and mental stuff is hard. How do you guys deal with things that are emotional and mental and confronting stuff?
I take it to
Uh,
God and I leave it there. That's where I send all that stuff because I don't have the power to do anything about it or the ability to be equipped with it. But I think that's what, you know, that's where in the Bible it says, my yoke is light, you know, you carry my yoke and I'll take yours. So that's where I leave it.
The
yeah.
emotional and mental stuff is hard at times. You just got to push through it the best you can. It's really all there is.
Yeah. Yeah, I get in a funk, as you know, quite often. But in the morning, a new day. Start fresh and try and start positive. Every day is a new day, and try not to let it, drag it on. Like some things you just don't have control over, and you just got to grab it by the horns and just move on. What else can you do? But definitely prioritize yourself. Make sure that you try and stay on track and keep feeling optimal, because if you get into that where I am now, where you have those little treats and then you start to spiral, and you just got to be aware that you don't want to spiral out of control and get back to where you were, lose all that progress that you've made. So try and make that keep you strong.
For sure. There we go.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, go everybody. If you guys could go check her out and subscribe, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
See, just making sure I'm not missing anything.
Oh, she's got Dachshund puppies too. Wow. Oh, I miss my puppy. I'd love to get another puppy one day.
There we go. I think, did we make it through the star comments?
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are slacking. You need to get more comment or more questions in here. We caught up to you already. I didn't think I was going to get caught up. We were rifling through them because there was a bunch there for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just been thinking about, what do you put in the chat what you guys think that is your key to being consistent? What are the little things that you did that made the difference this time? And what you think is sustainable long term, like how do you look at carnivore,
Does anyone want to jump on and join us and talk to us and tell us what keeps them on track, keeps them consistent?
There we go. I'm at work, so I'm behind a little. My first time on carnivore, I was eating a couple of ribeyes a day and down eggs with butter. My first 72-hour fast was a breeze. This time stopped at 30 hours. Yeah, I can get that way, but you know what? That's not a bad thing, Willie. That's a good thing. That means that your metabolism is healing, and all of a sudden your body's wanting the nutrition because it's healing, right? So that happens quite a lot, where our body doesn't know what to do with all this nutrition, but as your metabolism heals and as your metabolic system heals and as your mitochondria heals, it goes, oh, we could start repairing some tissue. So now it wants these building blocks. So it doesn't want you to fast. That's why SBG has a priming protocol and then they go into fasting, because priming literally is giving your body all the nourishment that it needs. The fact of the matter is we were all over 700 pounds here and we were all malnourished. That's one thing we all had in common. We had, because, this is what kind of is frustrating that they don't teach you, that none of my doctors told me was, which, maybe it should be more common sense than that, but you hear all this nonsense. There's so much sleight of hand with the marketing and the propaganda that's out there, but they don't tell you that you don't just put fuel. Everything's about calories, and that's why they want it to be calories, and you need a calorie, deficit to lose weight. Calories in, calories out, the calorie thermodynamic hypothesis, It's bullshit, because you don't just eat calories, you eat building blocks and nourishment. Your body needs other things than fuel. We're not just eating fuel. We're putting all the building materials and supplies for the foundation and the structure and the fabric of all of our cells and all that, that our cells need to be healthy and to form. And our cells aren't, they're not, they require nutrients to repair themselves all the time. The body has to repair itself all the time. And we get malnourished. And we sit here and we eat all these highly addictive, empty carbohydrate calories, stocking up all this fuel, when the entire time it was either we were doing that because it was a dopamine fix, our hormones were screwed up, we were just trying to self-medicate this hormone freak out and depression and anxiety with dopamine fixes, and our body was always hungry, and leptin sensitivity, which is our satiety hormone, is shut off because our body was malnourished for building blocks the whole time, And so priming is about putting all those building blocks in there until you fill this terrible deficit that you have. And when you're doing that, your appetite's going to increase, and fasting's not going to be very easy. And so that's why you had an easy breezy time at 72 hours. Well, that's because your metabolism wasn't running very good. Now you only made it 30 hours. That's because your metabolism was cranking on all cylinders. And it's like, we're not fasting right now. You finally found the motherland of nutrients, and we want more of it because we want to heal. So keep eating it, And so that's actually a really good sign, Willie.
I look at everything as 5 days because anyone can do 5 days.
True. Standing on your head.
Reminding myself I'm healing an incurable autoimmune disease. Yeah.
That's incredible. So true. I mean, that's what's funny. I think we're going to redefine what's incurable, right? I mean, so many
some
incurable
of the stuff that
things.
we've seen change for all these people.
Yeah.
Amazing. Just by what you're eating.
For sure.
My key to being consistent is satiation and zero pain. And my emphysema is healing. I can actually sprint now. I live at 600 feet above sea level. Wow.
That's awesome.
Look, they're great goals to have, aren't they?
For sure. That's incredible.
For those who do track, what are you using? I've used my Fitness Pal a few times back at the start, like when I was doing keto, and occasionally I do pop, what I'm eating in there, but just to see what's going on. So my Fitness Pal, I've used a few times, just the free version. I don't pay for anything. So
I use the Lose It app. It looks like an orange scale. It's called Lose It. It's just the simplest one that I've found, and it's free. So I just use that one.
So mental clarity and zero depression. Fantastic.
100%. That's big.
100%, right?
Carnivore Odyssey, I pray and tell all about it and cry out to him. Remember, you are a beautiful person. Keep going.
Pray and tell God all about it. Okay. Very, very true.
I've been carnivore for 3+ weeks, and I have been staying home for the last 10 days because I was exposed to COVID. So I can only eat the food I have in my house: meat, eggs, heavy whipping cream, some. It's a good way to stay on track if you're not out. There's no temptations at home. Yeah.
Cup of coffee and butter.
Yeah.
Nice.
Beautiful.
It's awesome.
Looking at my screwed up past medical problems, and the bill helps me realize I need to follow this route from now on. That keeps me on track.
That's a good one. Pull up the old medical bills. Yeah, that'll definitely do it too. Be like, what the heck? Yeah, I mean, how stupid is that, right? Like, I mean, I was in the hospital for 11 days. They sent me a $38,000 bill for congestive heart failure, COVID lung, and getting fluid pumped off me with Lasix. And I was in there for 11 days, and not once did they talk to me about diet. They could care less about diet. What they did was they had pulmonologists come in. he set me up with appointments for specialists. And then they had a sleep doctor come in, and they set me up with appointments to get sleep studies. And then they had a cardiologist come in, and he set me up with a list of studies that he wanted done, or new tests that they wanted done, and that I was going to have to go to all these 3 things. So I left the hospital with like 3 or 4 new prescriptions that I didn't have before, and I left with like 7 appointments that I was going to have to go to, and not one of them was about diet at all.
No.
And when I got home, as soon as I saw that, I mean, the whole time right after this, because this was right like the peak of all the information of this 11 days that I was in the hospital. They're going to give me all the news about what had gone on. And, so I was looking for a good report. I was looking for something that was going to make me feel better about this stay and everything. And they come in and they just give me all these lists of things that I got to do. And none of them were good. Right. And these new medications. And then all I could think about was my dad and my brother, and that they did all this stuff. And they're both dead. They both died 11 days apart from each other. And I just kept thinking about how they all followed the same path. They all took the medication. They all went to the appointments. They listened to the professionals, and then they both died. And they got sicker and sicker and sicker until they died. And I just was looking at that pile of shit. And when I got home, I had this whole bag of stuff. And my sister came in just like I'd seen her do with my dad, just like I'd seen her do with my brother. And she was writing down all my appointments, because this was my new life now, was taking these medications, and some of them in the morning, some of them at night, some of them with food. When I had to do a phone call with a doctor or a nurse to check in, when I was going to have to go to see a new specialist, and all this stuff. Same crap that I'd seen so many times with my brother and dad. And she put it all together, and she left me this thing as I was sitting there on an oxygen machine in my house, and I had all this medication, and I took it all and I threw it in the garbage. I'm like, I'm not going to one of these appointments. I'm not taking one of these pills. I'm either going to, I said, I'm praying, I'm giving this to God, and I'm either going to die on my own terms, or I'm going to live. But it's not going to have anything to do with this system anymore, because I watched the system kill my brother and my dad, and I know it's bullshit. I know it's bullshit. And so I'm not doing one of these damn things. I'm not going to accept the sickness. I'm not going to accept that this is my new life and just deal with it and get into this system. I'm not doing it. And that was when things really turned around. So but yeah, the only thing left of that whole thing is I'm still paying on that $38,000 bill. So I definitely feel for you there. I know that feeling.
Hey, hi, Big Dog. I ate brisket for 4 days. It was great. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I can't tell you how bad my stomach is rumbling right now, because my brisket just hit a temperature that's making it smell like delicious brisket all through the house right now. And I just, all I've had in 7 days is I broke my fast with 1 cold meat stick. Right now, this most amazing smoked brisket smell is permeating through the entire house, and it's making
nice.
It's making my brain freak out. It's pretty funny.
Heavy whipping cream and 1 cup of coffee and butter, and I attend as many of the steak and butter gang meetings that I can. Excellent. Yeah.
That is awesome. Very good way to stay on track.
I just signed up for Steak and Butter Gang and looking forward to all the good info. Excellent. Yeah,
awesome.
I look forward to seeing you at the meetings.
Yeah, show up to one of the Chew the Fat meetings and say hi to us for sure. I definitely want to meet you.
I have spinal muscular atrophy. I'm missing the SMN1 gene and told I can't build muscle. I'm really putting Carnivore to the test. Yeah, well, we have to be the first out there to give these things a try, and hopefully, pass the message on and have some great news to shine. But
absolutely,
hopefully it works for you.
Yeah,
that'll be awesome for sure. Yeah,
I'm glad that you're sharing a journey. That's awesome as well. Hopefully, other people can find it.
Yeah, for sure.
This is basic. I quit eating by the clock. If it's 18 hours until I eat, that's just the way it is. Yeah, it's a good way to be when you're not sort of clock watching all the time, wondering when the next meal is coming. You just eat when you get that tummy rumble and it's telling it's time to eat.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's what I do. Yep. It's
Hmm.
freeing.
It is.
Let's see.
Never too many questions, Pam. Keep them coming. How do I figure out how much protein I need daily? I'm starting week 3 again for the umpteenth time.
So it's kind of based. The rule of thumb is 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass. So you have to just figure out what you think your lean body mass is. And how that would work is if you know how everybody has an ideal body weight that they judge you on and say you're obese if you're over such and such,
BMI scale. Yep.
Yeah, it's BMI scale, and it's also, so online there's something called a TDEE calculator. And if you go on there and just type in TDEE calculator, it'll ask you some questions. It'll ask you how old you are, what your sex is, what your age is, what your height is, what your weight is, and then it'll tell you basically what your ideal body weight is. When you get your ideal body weight, that's going to be roughly 18 to 24% body fat, especially if you're, depending on whether you're male or female. But you can figure it out at 20% body fat. So just to make the math easy, let's say that it told you that your ideal body weight was 200 pounds, and that's at 20% body fat. Then you would have to take 40 pounds, that's 20% of 200, off of that, which would make your lean body mass 160 pounds, which would mean the ideal place to start would be at 160 grams of protein a day. And from there, you can adjust it. You can adjust it down a little bit if you are very, very sedentary, or if you're very active, you can adjust it up, but generally 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass is a good spot. Is a good spot to start. So, you guys have anything?
I just did it for me. Okay, it's telling me I need 4,000 calories a day.
Right.
And
To maintain.
I need to maintain, and I need 401 protein, 401 grams of protein, and they wants me to eat 200 carbs a day.
Yeah, that's because your size. But what does it say your ideal body weight is?
158 to 171 pounds. No.
Right, which is a lie because we've been so big for so long.
No way.
No, not a chance.
I'd be a string bean.
Right. But one thing that these calculators actually do okay, the reason why I said do again, I got to stop saying that. But one of the things that they get right is that the reason why they're adding so much on there is because, and this is why it's so stupid. The thermodynamic hypothesis is such a stupid thing, because even these calculators know that if you cut your calories too much, you're going to go into a stall and your body's not going to give up any weight because it's going to stress it out and it's going to tank your metabolism. And so this is why the thermodynamic hypothesis is stupid, is because they want you to believe that there's this static number of calories that your body needs as an expenditure. And there's this static number that you can put in. And if you have a deficit between those two things, then your body mass is going to come down because that energy equals mass. It doesn't equal mass, but also there's another equation in the middle that they pretend like's not there, and that's the fact that your body has a metabolism, and your metabolism will adjust based off of the available fuel in your food environment. So how can they tell you what a deficit is going to do if your body can, for any reason whatsoever, because you didn't get sleep, because you were stressed out, because you yelled at the dog, I don't know, for any reason whatsoever, because it's cold outside, because you got a cold, any reason.
There's so many factors, right?
Yeah, any reason whatsoever, it can just shut down and say, hey, guess what? We're not losing weight. This is why the priming protocol at SBG is so good, because it's all about healing your body and putting it in a safe, comfortable position of nourishment. And when your body gets there, then it feels safe to let go of the fat. when you stress your body out, it holds on to it because it's like, oh, something's wrong. We're going through a famine. We're going through an outage, and it just slows your metabolism down, so you have no energy and you have terrible brain fog, and you don't lose the weight anymore. You know, so that's what's so crazy about it. So one thing that even these TDE calculators are built for calorie deficits, but the reality of them are that even those try to only create like a 500 calorie deficit a day, because they know if they go any crazier than that, you're just going to stall out and tank your metabolism, if they go crazy. So it's pretty funny that they even know that. I mean, they contradict their own hypothesis. It's pretty funny, but that is how you do that. For your protein, it's 1 gram per lean body mass of protein.
It's still, I think, still try to keep it simple. So all the math, that confuses me. If I need to deal with it, then if I get to that stage ever, I just say I might reach out to Coach Emily and say, hey, can you help me? I need it in a store, whatever. Can you help me out? Work out my figures for me, but I can't get my head around all that stuff.
Right.
I'll just hassle you, Todd.
No worries. That's the part that I like, so I'm happy to do it. I'm healing from a RA, which I watched cripple my dad for the last 25 years of his life. I have been symptom free for months now. Yeah, exactly. And I'm not demonizing all of these people, right? I'm not demonizing our healthcare professionals. I just know that our medical system is broken, and it's been influenced and controlled by money and greed and by pharma and deep state. And we have to understand, they don't know, just like we were blinded by the food we were eating and the propaganda that we had swallowed, they're blinded by their indoctrination from medical institutions, and some of them make it out and are awesome. But some of them just drank the Kool-Aid and they're just stuck there,
Yeah. I just think we all need to do our own research, and we need to ask the doctors the right questions. And if we can see that they're struggling with answering our questions, then maybe we need to find someone else, or they need to do some more research, which is what I found with my daughter's endo. Like, he kind of fobbed us off, and I'm like, and then he said they were very good questions. So obviously I'm hoping that's going to make him think and do a bit of research so he can answer us properly next time. Otherwise, maybe it's time to find a new doctor that can help us and give us straight answers. And so definitely keep researching. Don't put 100% faith in your doctors. They're there for a reason. They're there to help us, but sometimes they need a bit of help too, especially if they're not keeping up to date with what's going on.
For sure, 100%. Matrix had you, Todd, 100%. Somebody's been looking at my header on my Facebook page or my YouTube channel, for sure. No, that's why I have the red pill, blue pill Matrix background on my my YouTube channel, for sure. Yep. So proud of you, Todd. You've done so good and are continuing to move forward. Woohoo! I appreciate it, Arlene. Thank you so much. And yeah, I mean, we are winning this battle. We are. I see. Look at all the number of carnivore influencers. Look at all the big carnivore. I mean, Jordan Peterson just shouted out on X, Healing Humanity documentary for Carrie's documentary.
That's awesome.
That's huge, right? We're on, the carnivores on Jordan Peterson and Elon Musk's radar, right? This is getting out there. They can't stop it. That's the beautiful thing about truth and meaning. Truth and meaning, you can't stop it. They try. Right, all communism and all evil, the battle since the beginning of time, has been hiding the truth, hiding reality, hiding truth and meaning from people, and you can't do it. They've never been successful doing it. They have in short periods of time, which created the worst tragedies humanity's ever seen, of course, but they never can do it for long. It's always temporary, and hopefully we can all learn from that and stop repeating it. But man, history loves to repeat itself, for sure.
What a brave first step, and how now you look where you are. Yeah, you're looking amazing.
I appreciate it. I don't know how brave it was. It was just, honestly, it was just a realization that this isn't working, It it killed my parent, or killed my dad anyways, and it killed my brother, and my mom's got Parkinson's, and it's like
Right.
none of them ever. I never seen them take a little bit of medicine and listen to their doctor and then end up taking less medicine and getting healthier. Never happened for any of them in my family. Not once. It's just like, okay, well, this is your slow descent into death. This is where you lose a little bit of quality of life every day and a little bit of movement until you die. So, and now you spend all your money going to appointments and on prescriptions and feeling bad about, everything that's happening to you. It's like, no, we're not doing that. Never again. Todd, I really admire your capacity for critical thinking. Definitely on the same page without broken health system. Yeah, with our broken health system. Yeah, for sure. I appreciate that so much. But I mean, it's so obvious now, right? And this is the carnivore clarity, right? Have lifted the fog, and we all see it for what it is. That's why I really do think we're all in the matrix. And when you unplug and you sit back and you go, "Oh, this is what they're doing to us, and this is what's broken," and that's why it's hard to not get mad at people sometimes, but also we have to remember that they're in the same matrix but we're all in. They're blind to it just like we were, for a lot of reasons. And I mean, that's why I do love the Matrix, because it was just like Cyrus wanting to go back into the Matrix because ignorance is bliss, right? Some people know that they might be in the Matrix, but man, it's comfortable for them, right? Because they like believing the lie. A lot of the reason that I stayed in the Matrix so long was because I like believing that there was a magic pill that was going to let me eat bad food and get away with it. And so doctors are not immune to that. There's doctors and nurses and medical professionals that want to stay in the Matrix because it's comfortable. They get to live this life and make this money, and they, to get to unplug, they'd have to say, well, I have to redo my entire career and all the college that I went through, and to get indoctrinated.
Learn everything again. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot to ask, right? And so, a lot of people are blind.
I just signed up for the SVG August challenge. I'm going to try and make the chew. Excellent.
That's
Unfortunately,
awesome.
the chew is 3 a.m. for me, so I'm fast asleep when it's on. But occasionally, I'll jump on at the end and say hi. But yeah,
When you guys are in there from this cast, shout out this program when you're in there so that we know where you came from. I appreciate it. All right. I love this, Charlie. I used to say this all the time. My height to ratio said I should be 90-foot redwood. I know. So, all right, I got a funny story about that. So when I was 15 years old, I was working construction. I was 600 plus pounds, and I was working as an electrician, working with my brother and a guy named Phil Varner, and we had to remodel a gas station in Gallatin Gateway, and didn't have a driver's license, and Mom had to drive me over there and drop me off. Well, I wanted to be one of the boys, because I was just, there were only so many things you can wear when you're that big, and they didn't make, like I wasn't wearing jeans and stuff. So I special ordered a pair of size 72 Carhartt bib overalls. And when they came in, these bibs were so tall that I had to roll up the pant legs, like a foot of pant leg on each leg. I had to roll them up. I had to pull these bibs all the way up. And then, the pocket up here where you put your screwdrivers and stuff in, that have the pockets. Well, I had to jerk that up to my Adam's apple. So those pockets were all the way up under my chin. And then on the back, they have the X where the straps come across. Well, this part of the X right here was pulled up all the way to the back of my neck. And I had the straps up all the way up here. And I had to take electrical tape and I had to bunch up the straps because I had adjusted them as close as they could be. And I had to bunch them all up on my shoulder and wrap them in electrical tape. So I looked like I was being smothered by my pockets and I was being hit in the back of the head with the X part of the back of my bibs. And so I got brand new I had Red Wing boots on, Carhartt bib overalls, a Carhartt hat, and a Carhartt t-shirt. And I got out of that car, and I had my bag of tools, and my brother and Phil Varner are sitting there, and they're looking at me, and my brother just starts laughing. He goes, "You look like the Pillsbury Carhartt boy." He starts laughing, and then they go, "What in the heck is wrong with your bibs? How are they all the way up to your chin?" And I said, "Well, I guess they thought I was going to be taller." To get around, they never thought I was going to be 72 inches wide and tall.
Oh,
It was so funny. I still laugh about that today.
So this is
We
what I'm
need a-
picturing.
Sort of, yeah, closer. Bring that up to his lip, his bottom lip, and we're close. But that's pretty close. I was definitely the Carhartt minion. Oh my gosh, it was hilarious.
if only we had a photo, that would be awesome.
Oh man, I wish I had that photo. It was so funny, and man, I took so much crap over those bibs. I ended up going to right after that. I went to a hotel we wired in West Yellowstone, Montana, and I still remember Charlie, the superintendent, and he used to call me what did he call me? Spanky, I guess is what he called me. And he when I came in there, he goes, "Holy crap, Spanky! Did you get them bibs off the shelf?" And I said, "Nope, special order." Oh, it was funny. That hotel was the first time that I fell through a set of stairs. I was so heavy that when I was coming down from third floor on the temporary construction stairs, I hit the second step and I blew through those stairs and I ended up landing on my back on the stairs below me. Oh, it was such a nightmare. Oh, I was banged up pretty good, but it was hilarious because I ruined my bibs. I ruined my bibs on those stairs because I ripped the crotch right out of them, and it was the middle of winter, and I fell right through the stairs in front of Fred, and Rod Sainsbury and Ron Jensen, the owner of the building, the owner of the construction company, and the superintendent. I fell right through the stairs right in front of them, and they thought that I just killed myself. And I got up, and my bibs are all blown open, and I'm like, "Why is it so cold in here?" That's because I'm ripped wide open. I had to run home, and my leg was black from the knee to the ankle, and I had to wrap it up and get it. Luckily, I'd bought 2 pair of bibs by that point because I needed a change. And I changed into my new bibs, and I came in there limping. And when I came in there, they had all the stairs being changed out to more structurally sound stairs because I mean it was the funniest thing. I was laughing so hard. John says the thermodynamic makes no sense when doing carnivore. I can eat 6,000 plus calories of meat and fats and gain 0 weight and maintain all. Yeah, exactly. 100%. 100%. Let's see here. Where are we at? Carney Blog, my heroes keep fighting the good fight. Love you guys. Appreciate it, man. I love you.
How you
Hey.
doing, Carney?
Shout out to Carney's channel. All right.
Oh, what books do you recommend? Good question.
Whew. All right, you go first because I have to think about this one for a while.
Oh, I have a ton of books, but I haven't read any yet because I haven't had time. So I'm afraid I can't offer any suggestions there, but I'm sure
Right
they're
now-
all really good.
Yeah, right now, Georgia Eads, Change Your Diet, Change Your Mind is the one I'm working through. I really like that one. The Case Against Sugar, I really like by Gary Taub. I'm trying to think of why can't I remember Dr. Jason Fung's book that talked about
The
insulin obesity
code. Yeah.
I like that one. That was a really good one. But then I don't know. I'm more than diet books for changing my habits. I actually read Jordan Peterson's books and his read list, but I really like 12 Rules for Life and his second another 12 Rules for Life. I really like
the Obesity Code.
Yeah.
You also got The Lies My Doctor Told Me.
Yeah, that one's good.
Iodine Crisis.
Oh, that's a good one, actually. That is a really good one. Because that's by, what's his name? Crap. What's that guy's name now?
Lynn Farrell and Dr. Brownstein.
Brownstein. That was the guy, yeah. Brownstein. He's awesome. All right.
It's one thing to heal yourself, but it's quite another to share your personal experiences in order to help so many others. We are all grateful for your compassion and courage. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Ribeye Ranger.
We appreciate
Why
it so
we do
much.
this.
Same to you.
Yeah.
All of us. I think everybody in this community that's sharing their stories is just trying to help others find a way of correcting all the problems that we've run into all these years.
For sure.
Get our health back. Yeah.
100%.
And
Yeah,
just sharing in the comments as
Rebound.
well. Yeah, people can resonate with a lot of the comments.
For
So
sure.
it all helps.
Well, and it takes it out of the shadows, right? It shakes us out of the shadows because that's where they want us. You know, they want us being the one-offs and the outcasts and the weirdos. You know, that's why it's kind of funny, but it came up today in Chew the Fat and SBG about, you know, it's not normal to eat food and then smell like you passed a dead animal in the bathroom. And it's right. And I laughed about that, but I made a short just a while back on my Instagram and on YouTube about Taco Bell. How crazy is it that they'll go, it's so weird you carnivores only poop once or twice a week. And it's like, no, you know what's weird is that you guys actually coined the phrase Taco Bell squirts because you're so used to going to places to get sick. Like, you know, you're going to get sick. You know, you're going to have to run to the bathroom. And you think that that's normal, that you're going to go ahead and go make yourself sick. And then you're going to shoot out $15 worth of Taco Bell,
Right.
you know, hopefully in the bathroom before you get home and not in your car.
And it's just not Taco Bell either. We got what's called White Castles here.
Yeah.
And that does the same exact thing to you.
Well, there's so many of them that do it. And there's more and more every day because food is becoming less and less food and more poison. But I'm just saying that there's an exponential, you know, examples of all these places that people know, not places and foods that they're going to eat. Man, if I eat that ice cream, I'm going to crap my pants, but it's so good. It's worth it. Man, if I, eat, tomato sauce, I'm going to have heartburn, puke up acid tonight, but man, it's so worth it. Like, people do this stuff all the time. They make excuses. Everybody talks about it. They're like, their cabinets are full of Tums because they fully and intently plan on eating food that's going to make them sick immediately, and they know exactly what's doing it, but that's normal. But boy, if you eat food that your body absorbs so cleanly and so well that you only have to go to the bathroom twice a week and it doesn't smell like a toxic waste dump just exploded in your bathroom, well, you're weird. It's like, wow, how did that? I forget that picture, but it shows like 10 people in a pool in a circle, and there's one guy in the middle, and all the 10 people around him have peed in the pool, and there's yellow water coming to him, and there's one guy in the middle that didn't pee the pool, and it's clean water, and they're all pointing at him laughing. That's what it feels like now, right? When you see it, it's like, no, you guys are all the ones peeing in the pool. You guys are the ones that are weird, like, I don't know why we're being persecuted, but that's why they want us in the shadows. They don't want any examples. They don't want any kind of truth or meaning shining a light on what's really pretty crazy stuff that's going on that people have gotten brainwashed by. I mean, it's pretty silly anymore.
Yeah, I go to the doctor next month for labs. After that, I'm not going anymore.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, doctors are good for labs so that you can see what your own progress is. Like, that's good. You can go to doctors for labs and stuff, but it's just like, if
understand it.
Yeah, right. Because if it's something that you're going to refuse the treatment for anyhow, or there is no treatment for, and they're just going to try to manage symptoms, like, who cares? You always have the opportunity to manage a symptom later, but it really doesn't do any good for you. You're just spending money on it, and you're kind of taking ownership of this new thing, where you can start to fight it yourself and see where it goes. Like, I'm not a doctor and I'm not giving medical information. I'm just saying, like, at a certain point, we all have to decide. We have to plant a flag and decide, for me, it was the hill I was dying on. Like, I'm like, nope, not anymore. This is where I draw the line. I've seen this fail too many times. I've seen it take too many of my family members. I'm not doing this. It's not what's happening, you know?
Yeah, just do your research so that you're well informed when you go into these things. To all of you delightful folks, what's been the strangest, interesting result from your carnivore experience thus far?
Strangest, interesting result. Whew.
Oh,
Oh, I'm still surprised that it works. I didn't think it would work.
and it's as easy as it is.
Well, my hair's growing back. That's weird.
Yeah, hair's growing
So,
back.
I mean, because I've been bald for 26 years and my hair's grown, or no, 18, 23 years. And so that I didn't expect. Also, I wouldn't call it strange, but the thing that shocked me the most was that it only took 3 weeks to get rid of 20 plus years of like pretty severe suicidal depression was gone in 3 weeks of eating fats, right? Which is one of the reasons that I get fired up about carnivore, because, you know, I know 3 people in the last 18 to 24 months have committed suicide in my life on those drugs. And I'm like, man, what if it just took 3 weeks of eating carnivore?
They'd still be here today.
Yeah. You know, so I don't know. The strangest thing is that I no longer believe that they're incurable things. That's the strangest thing. I mean, short of growing back a limb, I don't know that there's anything that's really incurable.
Yeah. Definitely my lymphedema has improved a lot. And lipedema, I didn't think my legs would ever shrink. And they're not normal yet, but I'm getting pretty close to normal. And I probably thought there'd be a lot more loose skin that I have. Like I have a lot, but I kind of thought there'd be a lot more. So,
Yeah.
Todd, yeah, okay. Out Kent Carnivore's Matrix video. You'll love it. Check out.
I definitely will check it out. I love Kent Carnivore's stuff. I haven't seen the one on the Matrix, but I definitely will watch it.
Keanu Reeves is on the thumbnail.
Sure.
Can't miss it. Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, he should try carnivore for his back pain. I saw that and it was awesome. I'm like, yeah. And what's going to happen if somebody like Elon Musk finds out that carnivore heals his back pain? And you know what is going to happen is he might try it for back pain, but it's going to heal a whole bunch of other stuff. He's going to feel fantastic. He's going to red pill him. He's going to go down the rabbit hole. And then the richest man on the planet, or second richest, whatever he is now, him and Bezos is always going back and forth. But
so the people that you know of.
What's that? Yeah, well, exactly. Okay. Yeah, for sure. But, you know, it's going to be, he's one of the most influential people on the planet is going to be spouting it. Is the biggest thing. And so, yeah, it's awesome. Jordan Peterson and Healing Humanity. Wow. Lynn and I just finished and posted a fundraising video for Healing Humanity on the channel. Feel free to share. Oh, nice. If we can find that, we definitely will. That would be awesome. It's huge. It's really huge. Need to make this. Oh, go ahead.
Need to make this change consistently. Need to lift the brain fog and move without crippling pain, starting anew at this moment. Yeah. Just one day at a time. Don't think too far ahead and make plans. Like I'm going to do a 3-month fast or whatever like that. These big goals are not sustainable. So just keep it really simple, one day at a time, and you'll get there.
For sure. Question. What is priming? I'm struggling carnivore since 11/23. Meat aversion is seeping in. So long story short, priming is eating more than you would probably be comfortable eating for the purpose of nourishing and healing the body and increasing and healing metabolic disease. and then you go into fasting after that. So I would highly recommend joining Steak and Butter Gang, because for things like meat aversions, there's a lot of coaches that have tactics in there to help you around the meat aversion. There's also private coaching if you need it, but there's also a meeting every 5 days a week called Chew the Fat, where there's people that are going through it. And that's really what it is it's a giant think tank and a group community of people that have all already went down this road and went through these things, and they can really help you out with meat aversion, why priming is important, why fasting is important. And you can also see people, in a whole spectrum, a linear timeline of people that are in the middle of their progress, and see what it's doing for them. And it really helps keep your mind on it. But long story short is it's eating with a purpose to heal your body. It's like using food as medicine, and taking your medicine more so than you would even want to eat comfortably just to get it in. But there's ways of doing that to break the meat aversion that'll make it easier too.
Yeah, I did a video a few days ago with the Carnivore Odyssey and talking about meat aversion, because it's something that we've both struggled with over our journeys, and just swapping out like salmon, having some salmon instead of the beef. That's been a big help for us, and also changing the cut of meat. We have a lot of porterhouse, and it's got to the point where neither of us can have it anymore. So having other things like a Scotch fillet, or maybe the way that you cook food. If you normally just fry a steak in a cast iron, maybe slow cook it, or do something else, some omelets, an egg drink. There's other ways that you can get some, still keep carnivore, but just changing the food. But you can check out our video. We've got a lot of things on there that we talk about.
I'm getting the link right now.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so that was really good, just to get some ideas from that. But it's real.
For sure.
More spanky stories, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll have to bring those back. That's an old part of my life for sure. Let's see here. Todd, I think may have been meant to be a stand-up comedian. You are not the first one to say that, Charlie. If I wasn't already in a career, that would actually be the one I'd pursue, because
I'd love to see you on stage with Joe Rogan. That's my dream.
I want to see him on TV so I can just turn it off.
You would. That's funny. No. It definitely would have been something I would have tried at some point. But here I am, stuck in a rut. Maybe someday. Maybe you can teach an old dog new tricks. Let's see. Did we catch up?
Tina's saying that Georgia G's book's on sale for $17.99 on Amazon.
Oh, that's awesome.
There you go.
That's a good deal. I have about 157,000 of those. What is that called? Audible credits on Amazon. So I never have to purchase a book again, because I left that thing running and didn't get books for like a year and a half. And so I have an untold amount of credits. It's ridiculous.
That's something I should consider is Audible books, because I just don't have time to sit down and read, but I could listen in the car, or, listen to audio stuff. I might have to look into that.
Sheila's comment.
A couple years ago, I'm fighting, needing to go back, holding water, moving with pain, out of breath. Yeah. So at the end of my rope, absolutely. You're going to, are you in the Steak and Butter Gang? Do you have means to be in the Steak and Butter Gang? Message me at the Carnivore Cure at gmail.com, because I think that would help you a lot. So go ahead and message me, please. All right. If Elon Musk goes carnivore and heals, he would probably try to find a way to make money with it. No, that's fine. I don't care if he makes money with it. I have no problem with making money on things that work. We got it, because we need to fund the war against the people that are making money on killing us, for sure. So yeah, I hope he does make money with it. Oh. All right. I don't pay for books. I use my library system for books and use Audible. Nice. That's awesome. All
I
right.
wouldn't even know where the local library is anymore. Do they even exist? We used to have them back when I was little, but we haven't been to a library for. Don't even know if they have them.
For sure. Let's see. Did I miss anything?
I think you're all caught up, Todd.
All right. Oh, there you go. What books do you write? Pop them in here. Maybe some people want to do a book club on your books. That'd be awesome. Let's see. We have a huge library system with almost 30 branches. Oh, that's awesome. We have one library, and it's where all of our homeless people go. It's cold there. And they have free coffee and Wi-Fi. So, all right.
Oh, interesting.
That sounds interesting. I'll have to look that up. It'd be neat to read. I'll have to check it out. Oh, he's got more. Ghostly Tales from the Southern Land, Haunted Place of the Old South. Oh, that's cool. Very interesting. And Book One Malcolm. Wow. Posting around. W.D. Smith. That's awesome.
Wow.
We'll have to check it out.
Someone famous online. Yay.
Oh, man. I can't believe how good this brisket's smelling right now. It's making my stomach growl, but it's only...
What's your temperature at? Yeah.
It's still not there. Let me look at it. It is only at... I got 4 more degrees before I can wrap it. It's at 161 degrees. I need it at 106. Well, really, I could do it in 2 more degrees. Somewhere between 163 and 165 degrees, I'm going to wrap it. But I got to get it to 195 degrees before I can pull it. It'll be done probably 10 or 11 o'clock. Then I can pull it and let it rest. But it smells so good right now. Oh, my gosh. It's crazy in here. All right. Great. Well, thanks for sharing. And Vampire Story set in 19. Oh, that'd be fun.
Oh,
and
I like vampire stories.
Michael's backyard.
Chicago.
I have a new non-scale victory today. My spider veins are going away, and I have a side-by-side picture, one from 2 years ago and one from today. It's pretty noticeable. That's awesome.
Oh, that's great to hear. Yeah. Spider veins are a big thing too for those to go away.
Appreciate you, Ribeye Ranger. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for stopping in. Everybody go check out Ribeye Ranger and Lynn Tucker Carnivore.
From a nurse's perspective, I'm very sad to hear people's stories. We have been lied to or never taught. I tell anyone that will listen about Carnivore, it is the medical system is failing us. Yeah.
It is.
For sure. 100% it is. And it's, there's just so many people that have really stuck in the matrix, right? And it's, I don't know. They're waking up, though. That's the good news. I feel like we're winning this battle. I really do. Because, lies are being exposed and everybody sees it now. I mean, on every spectrum right now. It's pretty incredible. But
be a hard job to be a nurse as well, to see all of this, and know that Carnivore could definitely improve a lot of people's symptoms, and they just don't want to hear about it. It's very sad.
Well, it is, but I can tell you what, right now is not, right now has got to be a tough time to be like a general practitioner or, a nurse right now, because there's a lot of educated people out there now that are coming fully armed and a little bit standoffish about what's going to be going on. And they're taking more, they're participating more in their treatment, and
Keeping the doctors on their toes.
they are. They
That's what
are.
I did
mean,
anyway.
Yeah, I don't think the quick fix script bullcrap is going very well, I would imagine, anymore, for sure. Whoop. They're still here. I had to beat my husband at Scrabble. No worries. Congratulations. It's your husband. That I'm just saying, from a man's point of view, that should have been easy.
Oh, you need to play Scrabble with Scott. He's not very good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I haven't seen a guy that's very good at Scrabble. So
yeah.
I'm a nurse. It's sad that my whole career was a lie. Yeah, right. I feel you. And they should be. We have to advocate for ourselves 100%.
Yeah.
That was what was so annoying about the campaign of trust the science, the settled science. It's like no science is ever settled.
Nope.
Ever settled. It has to stand up to, an eternity, right?
Yep.
And so as soon as it becomes the science, it becomes the propaganda,
Yep.
and the propaganda of the science during, the vid there was to don't ask questions, don't ask questions. Don't hear all the opinions. Don't hear all the experts. You're too dumb to know who's lying to you and who's not. So let us do it for you so that we make sure we give you the correct information. I mean, what a draconian nightmare of communist propaganda that was, and still to this day we see it. And that's what's funny is there's finally a rightful righteous pushback against all that nonsense. The chickens are coming home to roost, and it's pretty fun to watch right now. It's a good side to be on right now. Gotta go. Great listening, y'all. Thank you guys. See you next time. Appreciate you coming. Good night. Michael's got a fan.
Michael's been good. Well, they all are. How much has he lost so far?
I'm actually up 46 pounds.
So well, not total, but yeah.
But no, yeah. Right. Well, yeah, from where I was at 504, and now I'm up to 546. So
right.
Yeah, he's struggling with his lymphedema at the moment. So
right.
Yeah, he's having. Well, I think I really do think we were talking because he's got breakout spots on his arms, which sounds like oxalate dumping.
Yeah, oxalate. Yeah.
And oxalate dumping for me caused inflammation. Inflammation, when anybody that doesn't know, when you have severe lymphedema and edema, you get a bunch of stretched out skin that's just like a camel's hump of reserve for fluid. And if you get inflamed, man, it'll just fill up with fluid, and it's so hard to get it off there. And so when you go through an oxalate dumping, and it's about you're just a little over a year into carnivore
now. Yeah, just 2 weeks over.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, 13 months is where I started having oxalate dumping. And when I had oxalate, and when I had oxalate dumping at 13 months, I got inflamed. I had a compromised immune system. I got COVID. I put on a bunch of fluid. It was a wreck there for a while. So I think that's where Michael's at. I think he's having an oxalate dump, which caused inflammation, which caused his
and not sleeping good, and being up 18 to 20 hours a day, and only getting 4 hours of sleep. It takes its toll.
So. Yeah,
it's real rough.
I have to go to hospital to have my AF fixed, hoping Carnivore will fix it. But if not, I'm planning on taking a lot of sardines with me.
That's awesome.
AF?
Yeah.
What's that?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. AFib?
Oh, maybe.
I'm not sure.
Sardines is easy. You can obviously take them out anywhere. Yeah. I had oxalate dumping last year, about 1.5 years into keto. It was rough. Took a few months. Yeah.
100%. It is a rough go of it.
Tail for a bit.
Oh.
It's strange for me, but I actually had a lot less lower leg edema when I upped my salt.
Huh. That is
Yeah.
interesting.
I don't find salt
Problem
makes a difference for me either. So yeah, it's different for everyone. It's just a matter of finding what works for you.
Yep, AFib. Right on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not for us. Well, that's awesome. I think, here's a question.
Have you tried a grounding pad? One of our members on SPG is having great success with it for fluid in his legs.
Nah, I've been thinking about getting one.
Can you get one of those ones and pop it on your vibration plate? So you're doing the vibration and a grounding mat. That might be.
As long as it doesn't slide.
You
would think it would stay.
Just rubber, the top of it, isn't it? So it might be all right.
Yeah.
Because you're just sitting. Yeah.
The thing that's hard to when I get my vibration plate, I slide it across the floor when I'm doing planks on it. So annoying, because when you're doing planks, you're kind of putting pressure out, some tension between your arms and your toes, and then I end up walking my vibration plate around my room. It's really annoying. Oh my gosh, it drives me insane. Like, stop moving, dang it.
Have you got it on a mat or something?
I do.
Like a rubber mat?
I do.
Still moves.
It still just shakes around because I'm putting some forward force on it, and I'm not light by any means, and so it's met its match for sure. So it's pretty funny, but it is super annoying when I'm trying to plank and my vibration plate's walking on me. I'm like, stop doing that. You're gonna make me blow a freaking gasket over here.
B-Dog wants a video of that.
We do. I second
that. Listen, when I'm not so embarrassing at everything I do exercise-wise, I'll start making videos. I don't want to be Michael's giant blooper reel from here.
Come on. I need some new content, man. Baby picture's getting old.
Oh, man. I will. I definitely will. Oh, let's see. I was wondering the same thing, Lindy. Can I put a grounding? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think you can. Yeah, I haven't heard of anyone not doing that. So worth a try. Let us know how it goes.
I can't see why not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should do that, but then it bounces off the wall and it makes a god-awful noise. It sounds like I'm hitting the wall with a Sawzall for 10 minutes.
Yeah, my one under the desk, sometimes it hits the wall. I'm like, what's that noise? And yeah, it's a bit scary.
Yeah.
Are you still doing rebounding? And has Todd gotten his yet? Yes, I do my rebounder every morning for 5 minutes. That definitely. And then vibration plate is always under my desk. And I do vibration plate at night as well. So I love my rebounder. Just gets the lymphatics moving every morning and wakes me up and warms me up because it's winter here and I'm always cold. So yes, I love my rebounder.
Yeah, and I did get one and I do love it. It's very handy. I put it in my routine. My morning routine has been I get up and I do the Wim Hof breathing, 3 rounds of it. And then I do 10 minutes standing up on the vibration plate and I do squats. So I try to get 60 squats in that 10 minutes, 6 sets of 10 when I'm doing the vibration plate. And then I do like a half plank on the vibration plate on the ground. I put my arms on it like this and I do a plank from my knees to my elbows, just for opening up the thoracic ducts in both of my armpits. to get the fluid moving. And then I go out and I either do sprints on the exercise bike or I do sprints on the hit axle. I alternate them every other day. And then when I'm done with that, then I try to do 1,000 calf raises on the rebounder, which I usually have to do in 10 sets of 100 because that actually makes my calves burn by the time I do that. And then I come back in and I do 10 more minutes on the rebounder standing on it and 5 more on my arms. And that's kind of my routine now. And that while wearing compression socks has done the best to get the fluid and the size out of my legs. My left leg, which is my trouble leg, has gotten my calf down to 28.5 inches from 35.5. So that's pretty huge. My right one's doing really good. It's down to 26.5 inches from 35 inches. So that's doing the best. And then at night I lift weights. So that's been kind of my routine.
It's awesome.
There we go.
So what is the benefit of the rebounder if you have a vibration plate? Well, my vibration plate, my old one, it actually broke. And I was thinking it's time to get a new one, but I was feeling like I wanted something a little bit more challenging. So I thought a rebounder would, instead of sitting down and using a vibration plate, a rebounder would give me a bit of something I can do standing up and getting a little bit of bounce, and it's sort of the same
More
kind
movement.
of thing. Helps with your lymphatics. So I just felt like I was at the next level. I wanted to challenge myself a little bit more with the rebounder. And there's obviously a lot more exercises you can do on that as well, like jogging on the spot and things like that, which I'm not quite there yet. I don't have a handle for mine. So if you do get one, get a handle. I need to buy one. But it's just, when you're starting out from, 800, 700 pounds, a vibration plate is pretty much all you can do. There's no way you can get up on a rebounder to actually step onto it, do all the movements. But when you get to that stage where you want to exercise and challenge yourself a little bit more, rebounder is another good step. And I just do a gentle healing bounce. It helps with my lymphatics. I do it standing up. You can do sit-down exercises as well. But again, when you're ready to do that, it's not something you can do when at the start of your journey from where we started from. But
well, and
mixing it up.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, also a vibration plate is to move coagulated lymph fluid because your lymph fluid gets thick and blocked. So the vibration plate is to move tension and blockage out of your lymphatic system to create more pathway and flow. So it's using that to break up any kind of thickened lymphatic fluid that's in your lymph system. That's why I do the Wim Hof breathing, and then I do the shake plate for upper body and lower body, because the Wim Hof breathing moves the diaphragm, which opens it up in your opens up the lymph system in your waist, which for me, because I've been so big and I have a big belly, that's one of the spots that lymph fluid gets pinched off. So by moving that around, it creates space in your diaphragm and down low in your waist. And then when I do it on the legs there, it opens up the lymph system in the legs. And then when I do it up here on the arms, it opens up the thoracic ducts. All the lymph fluid from the very bottom of your feet have to come all the way up here to your shoulders. And that's where the lymph fluid comes out of your lymphatic system and goes through your thoracic ducts, especially the one in the left shoulder does the brunt of the work. So that's why I open that up. But then once I do that, then I try to warm everything up by doing my sprints, and sprints create lactic acid in the legs. That's why I do the sprints. But then I go to the rebounder because your calf muscles are the heartbeat for your lymphatic system. It is the pump that pumps your lymphatic system. So that's why I do that last, is because I can do a kind of a double whammy by doing the rebounder last to pump the lymphatic system now that I got everything open, but it also pumps out some of the lactic acid out of my legs from doing all those sprints. So I kind of did that in a design that I wanted to try to get the most out of it. And then just to make sure that everything was open and get the most out of it, and also to shake some of that lactic acid out of there, I go back to the shake plate to shake up some more of that lactic acid. But what's crazy and why I know that it works is because when I'm on that rebounder, after 15 minutes, I have to pee. I'm like, okay, some stuff's moving. So I'll go take a pee. And then by the time I'm about 600 into my calf raises on the rebounder, I have to go take another pee. So it moves the fluid. It really does move the fluid. And it gets it gets it off. And then if you can hold some tension on so that it can't just easily come back in through the night. So the only time I take my socks off is actually at night because my socks are pretty tight and they're not supposed to be super tight, but I got the biggest ones. I got 8Xs from Beltwell, and they're still too tight. So I take them off at night so that when my feet are raised on my bed, I have it over my heart, my feet, then that fluid can come off. And that's been the best pattern I've had so far of doing that. And it gets quite a bit of pump in there. And if you can do that, but then also first thing, put those socks back on so that it can't just fill back up there, it gives things time to heal, instead of always just being under that pressure. And it works pretty good.
I love your routine. It's good.
It's working for now, for sure. And it's done the most. I mean, my right leg is starting to resemble a normal human being's limb. So it's starting to come back. Before I was looking a little troll-like. Let's see. Did I miss any questions? Okay, no new questions yet. All right. Just check in. Let's see. We're doing good on time. This brisket. Oh my gosh. I'm dreaming of brisket right now and hot sauce. Brisket and hot sauce is what I'm wanting right now. But put in the chat what your guys is if you're doing any kind of lymphatic exercises or if you have a routine for your lymphatic system. I'd love to know what that looks like and if you're having
what works for you.
Yeah, what you guys.
I think Dr. Leslyn Keith is going to be on SBG next month in August.
Oh, is she?
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to seeing her. Yeah, she's awesome. We should try and get her back on our show as well. Let's have another chat with her.
Yeah, we have to get I'm getting my head back in the game here, guys. Was catching up on work, but we're gonna start getting some people on so we can have some more conversations. It's been a little bit dead, but we are bringing it back around. So we got to get her back on and a few other people. So that's awesome. But vibration plays pass. Okay. Yeah, the rebounder is pretty freaking awesome, I think. It really is. I mean, what's crazy is out of all that, right? Even out of the squats, the squats hurt my thighs, especially the inside thighs on that rebounder. But man, that are the on the vibration plate, and the sprints are what the sprints are. They make you tired everywhere. But that rebounder turns my legs to jello after 1,000 calf raises. Like if you really do it, because when I was doing research on it, you could stand like before I had the rebounder, I was standing on the edge of the stairs and I was doing calf raises like this, But what I found out is this calf raise from flat to high, there almost does no good for the lymphatic pump. It's actually all when your heel is down to straight. That's where all the pumping is coming. So when I get on the rebounder, let's see. I lift with my toes when I go up, but when I come down, I point my heels straight down. And I shove my heels far down as I can. And then as I'm going up, I go up on my toes and I shove my heels down. You do 100 of those especially once you start going and your full weight starts coming down when you got your calves down. You do 100 of those and it will wear you out. Your legs are jello and burning.
Yeah. But it's a good pain, isn't it? Because it's doing you good. So you kind of put up with it. It's not the nasty pain that you normally get. So definitely worth it.
Good night. Thank you for coming.
Good night. So getting late there. What's the time there now for you guys?
8:40 for me. So depending on
okay.
East Coast, that'd be 9:40.
I have a vibrations plate supposed to be delivered tomorrow. having a clue where to start. Just get familiar with it. I think I like to, when I was first starting, and if I had to do it over, I don't know what kind of vibration plate you'd have, but I get on the edge of it, and I put my feet on it, and then I drop my heels down, and I do calf raises on the edge, and I'll do like 10 of them, and then I'll get back on it square, and then I do squats on it. But that's I'm trying to just get a pump in my legs, So
Yeah.
I'll do like 10
When you
squats.
first get it, just stand. Like, I don't know what stage of your journey you're at, but just stand on it. Mine's got 3 options, so you've got like 3 buttons there. One's a walking option, jogging, and sprinting. So it just one's very gentle. The jogging one's a little bit more intense, and then the sprinting one is really intense. That actually hurts my legs. So, and if you have your feet on the outside, it's more for the sprinting, whereas on the inside you just get a gentle vibration. So it's more sort of for walking sort of pace. But just take it slowly. Just go 5 minutes or whatever. See how you feel. If you cope with that, then do a little bit more. I have mine going on all day under my desk. I love it. I just love that feeling. Loosens everything up.
For sure.
But yeah, do take it slow.
Dry brushing is good for lymph drainage and helping to tighten the skin. The cost for a brush is minimal if you can't afford any equipment yet. I know I've heard of it. I haven't tried it yet, and I got to figure out what it is. I haven't actually done any of that yet.
I actually bought a dry brush, but I just feel silly doing it, and I don't feel like it's doing anything. I don't know. Yeah.
It works.
That probably does work. I just, my headspace isn't right for it.
Do you find us entertaining? Our lives? I'm so glad somebody does. People around me are just tired of hearing me talk. So, like Michael's like, I can't believe I got to listen to this guy for 3 hours again.
I know. They don't pay me enough.
He looks forward to it.
Yeah, the calf raises, man. If you just point your heels down when you're coming down, and then just as hard as you can and get a stretch on them, and then point them up. At first you think the first 10 you're like, oh, I got this, but then I'll tell you what, when I get to 60, my legs are screaming, and when I get to 100, I can barely get off that thing. I look like a newborn baby deer trying to walk, and I got to go over my little chair, and I'm shaking, and it takes me like 5 to 10 minutes sometimes. So 5 at first, and then at the last couple of sets of 100, takes me like 7 or 8 minutes to be able to get enough blood back in to get back up there. And then I have to go in there, which is why I go back to the shake plate to try to get all the lactic acid out, because it is a real pump for sure. Yeah. But it moves.
I remember when I got mine, and my husband, he's like, oh, this is easy. He tried doing it, and he's like, oh, my calves are burning. So It looks easier than it is. Once you get on there and you're doing it properly, it does.
No, and you really want to point it down, because you want that stretch. You want to feel your calf and your Achilles heel stretch. And if you can just stretch that thing every time, that's when you're getting the full pump, and that's when it's really waking stuff up and pushing the fluid out. But that's also when you will start to get that thing to burn.
Yeah. Do make sure you get a handle for yours.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, so the handle is way handy. And I found not even by looking, it was just the only one that was good for 550 pounds. But it was
thanks to me, I found it for you. Oh, your rebounder.
Yeah, my rebounder. No, you found the shake plate.
Vibration plate.
Sure. The rebounder, I just looked up, and it was the only one that came up by 550 pounds, called a B-can. But it's only like $170 with a handle.
It's cheap.
It's super cheap compared to rebounders. Like all the other ones are for that, Lindy, I think where you're at, it's like $800, $900 or something.
Yep.
Yeah. So I thought, oh, this thing's going to be a piece of crap. Let me tell you, I've been throwing at the onions, and it is taking it. So I'm like, even if this thing breaks in 2 months, it's still worth it, because I'll buy 2, and I'll have one constantly going in on warranty while I have the other one, because it's like it's holding up, but nothing is wiggled or bent. I mean, it's been super nice.
Well, the handle for mine is $300. That's why I haven't bought it yet.
Highway robbery.
Yeah, but
Can you look up the Becan one? Can you get the Becan one in Australia?
I don't know, but I've already got the rebound. I just need the handle now. So yeah.
Well, even still, it's cheaper to get the whole setup for $170.
Send your rebounder back and get a refund.
Yeah.
Get this one with the handle. Tell them it broke and almost
still cheaper than buying the handle.
Yeah.
Nah, I'll get it eventually.
1,000 while I'm doing PT in the pool. I'm up to 25. Got a long way to go. Not really, though. This is what's crazy about everything. That's why when we started the show, I was talking about how things compound. It's those little things. 25 is as important as 1,000. It really, really is. Because, like, take the squats on the vibration plate. When I first did the squats, I couldn't walk for like 3 days when I did my first 30 squats on the vibration plate. And then they got too easy, and I was doing 60 and 80 of them. But then I got smart, and I said, well, I'm going to hold 245 dumbbells in each hand, add another 90 pounds, and do squats. Well, then I did 60 with holding 90 pounds. Oh, man, I couldn't hardly walk for a week after that. And I thought, oh, no, this is going to be terrible. The very next time I got on the shake plate about 5 days later, and I did squats again, I was doing the shake plate without doing squats, but I went back finally to do squats because my legs were only half sore. They were easy all of a sudden. It only took one round of pain to make the 90-pound squats easy. I was like, that was handy, and I'm not saying that's going to happen for everybody, but what I am saying is that is a testament to the growth hormones in the eggs, the DHEA, and carnivore being fully nourished, because that healed up and got so strong so quick. It took one cycle, and the next time it was like not a problem. I was like, that was incredible. That just woke some things up. I would still go a little bit lighter and not do it quite as bad because that was 5 days of pain, but it does work. It really did come back quickly, and I was like, well, in fact, that made a little bit of an addict out of me. I'm like, how fast can I make this grow? But it just feels so good to not feel heavy when you stand up. I was, for so long, I would have to, just 20 months ago, for so long, I'd have to spend quite literally an hour trying to think about how I was going to get out of my chair to get the strength and the courage to get out of my chair.
Right.
And so it's so nice to not have to think about nothing and just be able to stand up with ease. It's just crazy. It's really crazy.
Yeah. And just in the last 2 weeks, I've been doing this walking workout. And when I went to the shop on the weekend, I was able to stand pretty much all day and help my daughter with the flower market. I've never done that. I always, stand up for 5 minutes, sit down, stand up, sit down. I was always like moving to the chair. I was actually able to stand up and do the work. It was pretty amazing. And that's 2 weeks of just doing a little 15-minute workout video every day. So you heal quickly.
You do. You really do heal quickly. It's incredible. And it's incredible how fast it comes. So, I mean, today it's 25, but literally in a month it can be 500. It really does go by that fast. But even if in a month it's only 100, that means you're only a month away from 500 after that. Like, it really doesn't matter. It's really just about, well, like Jordan Peterson would say, you have to have something to aim at, and then you have to know what you want, have something to aim at, and then aim at it. That's all you got to do, no matter how little the steps are. If you're stepping forward, at least you're not going backwards, first of all, because that's what we all did for a long time. We aim at something so big and so steep that we can't do it, and we all end up sliding backwards and just keep slipping off into a worse hole. Where if you just make it gradual, even if it's those 25 steps alone that are just keeping you from going backwards is worth their weight in gold. That makes them 1,000,000 steps by themselves just because you're not going backwards,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm too heavy to stand on my vibration plate yet, but I put it under my desk and I just turn it on with my feet on it several times a day. I did that for 2 years, and it's so helpful. Just, just putting it on under your desk. I have it on all the time. I love it, and it helps so much to get that fluid out, and I was able to get up and walk around a little bit easier just by using it. So
I know. And how fast did the 2 years go by, Lindy?
Oh, quickly, for sure. Yeah,
So quickly. Time is going by so fast. Like I remember when we all just did our anniversary episode. Remember that? It just seems like it was a couple weeks ago. And I was like, oh man, I'm at my 1 year. It's going to be so
over a half a year ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, it's going to be crazy to see what it's like to be where Lindy's at in 2 years, you know?
And we did our 5-day fast 6 months ago, nearly 7 months ago.
Crazy.
Like, what's that?
Right. Remember how hard that was? Remember how hard the 5-day fast was and what a big thing it was?
Yeah.
Yeah. And now I'm doing 2 7-day fasts a month. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That it really does. Man, those muscles build quickly. You know, I remember when we did our anniversary special, I was thinking, I can't imagine where I'm going to be at when I can't wait to see where I'm at when in 2 years, like Lindy, you know, well, that's like 4 months away. You know, it's not far. I'm going to be blinking an eye and I'm going to be at 2 years and you're going to be at 3 years, you know, before you know it, you're going to be at 5 years, you know, like it goes by so quick. Yeah, as long as all you got to do is stop the descent into hell. You know, you stop the descent in hell. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just remember I didn't think I was ever going to get here at all. It just seemed like such a long road ahead. But now that I'm looking back, it has happened very quickly. So, yeah, just day at a time. If you sit on the rebounder at bounce, sit only looks silly. Not only looks silly, but you can get a bum in the abs, a burn in the abs.
That's funny.
Yeah.
No, I believe it for sure.
That might be good for my back, just to strengthen it up. Yeah,
Michael answered that, I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I keep reminding myself that on land I can only walk about a dozen steps on a good day. So to be able to work out in the pool for an hour, I'm doing well.
For sure.
Yeah. And it's so much gentler and on your joints and to do sort of water work.
Yeah. I mean, 20 months ago, I would have to sit in that damn chair and plan how I was going to get unhooked from my oxygen, get to the kitchen. And I had to map out about a minute and 30 seconds before I had to be back to my chair because I knew everything. So I had about a minute and a half. And so I had a minute and a half to get everything that I needed from the kitchen back to my room and get sat down. And then once I finally got there, I'd have to sit down, put my oxygen on, and I'd have to breathe for 10 or 15 minutes, breathe in oxygen to get my heart rate to come back down because my heart rate would be like 160, 170 beats a minute from doing that. My legs would be shaking. I'd be sweating. I would be so tired I was sick to my stomach. And I'd be white, you know, and I'd have to sit there, and it was 90 seconds. And before I could do it again, I would have to plan for hours. Like that would wear me out. Usually I would have to take a nap or something for an hour and a half before I could even do that again. Because my oxygen was so bad, I was tachycardia, or I had whatever you call it. I had a resting heart rate of over 100 beats a minute, and so it would take me half of a day to get the courage up and the think about it and plan for making another 90-second trip. You know, so that was just 20 months ago, and now I have a stupid exercise routine that I would have never thought that I could do, and I'm sitting here thinking, what is it going to be like in a year if I can do this now? You know?
Yeah.
Like it's crazy, you know? Like I think I don't know for sure, and I'm not going to put a bunch of pressure on it, but I think before the end of the year, my damn scale will finally be starting with a 3 on it, which is going to be insane, you know? I can't even imagine that. I'm 51 pounds lighter than I was even in Texas right now, you know? And so it adds up. It comes around. And so that compounding penny, it takes a little while, and you don't think that you're making any progress, but you're making more progress than you could ever imagine, you know? And so you just got to keep the course. And that's why our topic tonight is consistency, you know, and humbling yourself to be able to do the smallest of things consistently, because those compound into the biggest results you could hope for. I mean, it really is the miracle pill we're all looking for. The miracle pill is consistency and compounding results, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Very glad.
That's so wonderful and gives me so much hope. Yeah. The individual days can creep by, but in retrospect, the years have flown by.
100%, Charlie. 100%.
Yeah,
They go by quick.
they do. I totally get it, Todd. I'm on oxygen anytime I get up. Laying in bed, I usually don't need it. And yes, prior to Carnivore, I was vomiting several times per day just from exerting to go tinkle.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep, that's where you can get. But man, I'm telling you, you know, I went, and you know what I'm talking about. But when you're that in that spot, that kind of a dark place, you can't even think about 6 months. You can't think about 3 months. Like none of that matters. You literally, you know, my day consisted of thinking about how I was going to get to the bathroom, and I had to get prepared for that, and then how I was going to get to the kitchen to do something, and how, I mean, just one thing at a time, and just take them on one thing at a time. And if that's 25 steps in the pool in an hour, you know, that's better than you've been doing for forever, you know?
Yeah.
That thing's going to, before you know it, if you can make those things small enough to where you can consistently do them, in a year, you're not going to recognize yourself. And in 5 years, you're going to be somebody you never thought you could be, you know? It's going to be crazy. And 5 years is going to, and you know, I used to hate it when people would say 5 years. It's like 5 years, you know, but
we
now
all want the quick fix.
Right. That's what
there is no such thing.
Nope. It's like Chafee says, you walk 10 miles in the woods, you got to walk 10 miles out. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Everything takes time.
It does take time.
But you just need to keep moving forward each day and hope for the best and push yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
I pray for the best. I believe the best. I claim the best. That's where I put it in. And I do think that's made the biggest difference for me. But just keep putting one foot in front of the other. What do we got here?
I went back to keto in December and switched to Carnivore in April. I've only vomited once since then, and I hope you are right. This is kind of a last-ditch effort.
That's the best effort. The Latch Disc one was my last-ditch effort too. You know, I was like, it was a Hail
All
Mary.
three of us, we were there. So it can happen.
For sure, you know. And that's what's so funny. In retrospect, I look at it, and that stuff has made such a big impact on me now, because you look at, like, you know, I know I say Jordan Peterson's name about 1,000 times, but that guy, I leaned on that guy and, you know, my Bible and my faith all the time when I was starting this thing, and he would always, you know, talk about making those humbling yourself to make the tiniest of consistent changes that will change your life. And I look back, and I didn't know that I was doing that at the time, but that's exactly what happened. I made the changes, and I had to deal with the things that I had to deal with at the level that I was at. And it sucked. And it was humiliating and embarrassing and all those things. Very humbling. There's no pride in it at all. But it is the thing that worked, right? None of my biggest grandiose plans worked, right? None of those things worked. This worked. And it was the exact thing that the Bible and Jordan Peterson talk about. It's quite incredible, and that's exactly what worked.
Yeah. One day at a time and consistency. Good stuff. That's the way.
For
it's
sure.
A secret. I was on a medication for high blood pressure, now on none. Congratulations, Diana. It's awesome.
It's awesome.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
For sure. It's ours. It's paid for.
You're welcome, Tamara.
You guys are awesome. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, Jordan Peterson's awesome.
Hopefully we'll see Todd on there very soon.
Someday,
crossed.
I'd love to meet him. That guy.
Yeah, you'd love that.
I've been listening to him forever.
It's on his wish list. Good job.
We all are here. Our heirs to it's our birthright to be healthy and healed and prosper for sure. 100%. Thank you guys.
Heroes. There we go. Heroes.
I thought you were saying heirs. I gotcha. Now I get it. Perfect. Well, thank you guys. We love all of you. And we will see you next Sunday. We made it another 3 hours. I like this show. I think that was a good topic, and I want to do more like that. So
Excellent. Thank you. Have a great week, everybody.
Have a great weekend.
Take care, everybody.
See ya.